Hello, my friends. We are live once again. Man, this is gonna be a fun show. Hold on, this is about to be a fun show because we got my man CJ and Rome crashing. This was not planned. This was not planned, but this is gonna be a good show because let me fix the audio here. CJ and Rome. Yo, you guys are in for a treat today. I plan on having a solo show. I promise you guys a show today. Hold on, let me unmute you guys.
There we go.
Sorry, my bad. I had to start the show because I don't like people holding people waiting that long. But we got CJ and Rome crashing today. Man, you guys are kicking it in California.
You already know, smoking some good weed, man. We're gonna bring some.
You can say
they're gonna demonetize our shit anyway, so I legitimately don't even care anymore, bro. Like DJ, no, they demonetize all our fucking videos.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever. I'm not even gonna censor myself no more. What's the point?
Yeah, no point.
Yeah, no point. Like I will literally be buttoned down. Like, all right, I'm gonna no swears. I'm gonna be professional. No matter what, they always go after our shit. They always go after our shit because we calling out capital.
Yep.
You got. They banned Defiant L's on Twitter.
Yeah.
Holy shit. This is Didi. We gotta show solidarity to her. Guys, there's something going on. There's something going on. Holy shit! So
I think gonna get one of us, Nick, for something bogus. So
Rome been taken down multiple times.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sometimes
I don't know how I got.
Sometimes I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know how I'm still up. I figured I already told people if I get taken down, they ban me for Twitter. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna just start over low key. I miss the days I was just yelling into the void, but there's definitely something going on. And I wasn't even like really planning on talking about this, but it just happened. And this is something we predicted. Now we are heading to 2022. Got this new information war going on. Check this out. So Defiant L's was a giant. I wouldn't say conservative account. They always expose liberals. That's what we do too. I don't know their political leanings, but I would see they will tweet bangers exposing people's hypocrisy. Like they'll have like an old tweet, and this is the best example I know because this is the first one I saw where they had Brooklyn Dad. They had an old tweet where he was like, when Trump was president, he was like, "There's no way in fucking hell you can get me to take the vaccine under. I don't trust Trump. How you guys gonna trust Donald Trump?" And then under Biden, he's like going after quote unquote anti-vaxxers, and that's what that account does. That account exposes liberal hypocrisy. So that was banned, but the reasoning, check this out. And I know this because our friend Forgiven Chi, Didi, was banned for this. And she does nothing but tweet about how we should free DPRK, how we should end the genocide in Yemen, free Palestine, etc., etc. That's all the account is, right? So they said she was evading a ban, but her account is like 12 years old. So they're doing a lot of shady shit. Now look at what they did with Defiant L's. Mm-hmm. The word currently is ban evasion, though I've never had an account suspended. And I'm giving you guys my anecdotal story because this is what my friend is telling me. She got banned because they said she is evading a ban. Now that's why they banned Defiant L's. And then when I tweeted about it, someone messaged me. I don't want to show the PM, but they said, yeah, I had a friend that was banned for Twitter for ban evasion. So why is this relevant to talk about? We got an election coming up. We got Zoya in the house too. Holy shit. This might be a good live stream.
When you had an account when they banned you before, when you make it.
Oh, I was asking them what's ban evasion anyway.
So it's like apparently if you are banned and then you try to come back, they're like, you can't do that. We censored you forever. No rehabilitation. That's their mindset, right? How can anyone who called himself a leftist, and we're going to have a long conversation about this, how can anyone support the complete control of the flow of information and who dictates who is the spreader of misinformation? So the people who dictate that, they are the capitalist class. Mm-hmm. So are they going after the war criminals who lied us into war? Are they going after the Wall Street criminals who committed fraud? Are they permanently banning those people? No, they get immunity for some reason because they are authority. But they ban ordinary people for bullshit. How is this not a giant issue? And whether you like it or not, Twitter and all the other social medias. This is the new public square. This is the new way to exchange information. And whether you like it or not, that's just the reality of the situation. This is deep, man. Because we talk about this with CJ a lot. They just turned our channel off one day, and then now it's back on for some reason. Like we having a good month. Like we have to go him 15,000 subscribers by our 1 year anniversary. We having a pretty good month, but they just turned it off randomly after the general strike stuff. And there were a lot of people who was like, and I remember Dr. Kareem Batesh. You guys see him on International Leftist Coalition. Mm-hmm. He was like, Nick, dude, guys, they doing something to your channel, man. He hit me up immediately. He's like, you guys have been at 12.9 forever. That doesn't make any sense. And everyone was telling me, I was like, man, it's cool, it's chill. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but they are gonna crack down and they're gonna get us eventually. So I need to learn how to do Rofkin, and the other social media.
Yeah, Rockfin. We need people really, because we're there and that's a safer space. So I'm not saying it's completely never gonna have to happen. You can never say never, but
by the way, I'm talking about Rumble too. I'm talking about
Pancake.
Yeah, I'm talking to someone. Hopefully we're gonna join Rumble here soon. I'm literally at this. We were trying to focus on YouTube, and that was our 1 year strategy. But now I think it's time to start focusing on other stuff.
Yeah, that is a great.
Especially now, seeing all this stuff that's going on, it's gonna get worse. Like 2022 is like I think this their new testing ground. They're testing the new way they're gonna fight the information war. But then 2024 is gonna be some next level shit when they really ramp up the Cold War. Because now they're warming up, bro. They just now doing the stretches so they can get ready to really throw combinations against China, right? Wait till the shit get really hot. You think they're gonna have free anti-imperialist voices debunking their talking points? And I am telling you guys what is gonna happen because now there are a lot of right wingers who are shocked because government, Justin Trudeau is seizing their funds. They see the government cracking down on their protests, something that has been happening to us for decades. So now they finally experience what it's like to have a social movement that is targeted by the ruling class. So
a couple of us are old enough to remember Occupy Wall Street, Standing Rock, how those were shut down. They had remember the people at Wall Street was laughing at them from the balconies. Like, hey, this is.
Oh yeah, I want to get Zoya in here too. I want to introduce my friend Zoya. You guys know she co-founded 10 Demands with me. You guys gonna see her live on the show pretty much whenever she's free. I told her she got an open invite. So I'm glad that you joined us tonight, Zoe. How you doing?
Looking forward to the discussion, and I know this doesn't suit the mood we're in, all serious, but it is so surreal and cute to see CJ and Rome together. They're like together in real life.
No, this wasn't planned. This wasn't planned, Zoe. They just called me like 20 minutes for a stream, like, yo, are you streaming tonight? I was like, man, I guess you guys can hop on and you guys can talk about whatever you want to talk about as well. I have some shit we're gonna talk about today. I guess I kind of already talked about the social media censorship in a way. But Chris Hedges wrote an article, and there are people who are like must reads for me. Like I read their shit all the time. Like Chris Hedges is one of the people. Angela Davis is one of those people as well. Caitlin Johnstone, Aaron Mate. There are a few people that are like, whenever their shit come out, I'm reading it. Right. So Chris Hedges came out with an article, and as I was reading it, I'm like, this sums up everything we've been saying on our channel since its inception. What I've been saying during the election when I rejected the lesser two evils ideology. So we're gonna go through the article. It was so good. I'm reading it like I got 1/3 of the way through. I'm like, all right, I got to stop. I want to read the rest of this live because this is good. It's good stuff. And there are a lot of people who get attention. And this is what I'm trying to focus on now. Like there are a lot of clowns in political discourse. Like it's easy to like diss these people because every day they doing clown ass shit. I'm not afraid to say fucking names. Like like the Hassans, we talked about these people all the time. The Voshes, the Sam Cedars. These people are fucking clowns. But instead of getting those people attention, how about we highlight real solid I won't even just say leftist, but anti-establishment voices. So I want to go through this Chris Hedges article as well. What else do I have on the agenda today? Let's see.
Nick,
Zoya put in the chat. What is that, Zoya?
I dropped a YouTube video. It's a short clip from the movie War Dogs, and it breaks down like the cost of war. It's about a minute long, but it really will preface it nicely.
I bet. This is why I like having Zoya on, because Zoya got like receipts for days. Zoya's probably the only person who got more receipts just hanging out more than I do. Let's check this out. War Dogs 2016.
I'm gonna play it.
Boom.
What a fantastic clip that is. Holy, what a fantastic clip that is.
I brought rain to California.
Yeah, it started raining. You hear the thunder?
It's raining in California now. It's thunder.
But what a great clip that is. What a great clip that is. And this is why, and we're going to talk about this later, because Kim Iverson started dialogue on Twitter. I had tough words for her many times because her recent takes. But she asked straight up, what does it mean to be on the left and what it means to be on the right? And I'm glad that my response is one of the top ones, because I don't understand the confusion on this. I legitimately don't. This is not even a hard concept. And my definition is very, very lenient. I say if you're anti-capitalist and you're anti-imperialist, you are a leftist. Even if we disagree on other issues, I will still admit you're a leftist. I would just say you're a leftist that I have disagreements with, right? If you're anti-capitalist, anti-imperialist, but you have other takes that are kind of weird, I'm like, all right, you're a leftist, but I disagree with you on a few things. But those are the core. Those are two things I'm not moving on, right? We can't even get that out of the squad, for one. But if you look at that video, if you look at the war machine, and when I explain this to everyday people, I'm talking wealth is being extracted from our communities to fund these soldiers that are protecting heroin poppy farms in Afghanistan. Yep. Oh, did CNN didn't tell you that? Oh, I'm sorry. Let me repeat that. You understand? We spend $300 million per day in order to protect opium and heroin fields for Afghanistan warlords that the CIA was stealing a lot of. That's the Afghanistan war.
I'm glad you said something about the squad, because I remember what's so funny about this is AOC was talking about the inflation inside of the military industrial complex, and how they was charging us $1,200 for bolts and screws, or thousands of dollars. Overpricing certain things, and there's a lot of inflation going on. And we don't have to pay for a lot of this stuff. Well, we do have to pay for it if they want to go to war, but it shouldn't cost that much, and they just dipping their hands in the pot. But now she can't even have the balls to even stand up against war. You know what I'm saying? She's sitting there crying while people is losing their lives. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're voting present in a time of need. Like, that's crazy.
She was called out by anti-war activists for voting president and being complicit with funding the Iron Dome. And Austin DSA booed the person who challenged him on this. I am not ever going to let that go. I want you guys to realize that. Austin DSA showed their entire ass. They didn't smear AOC. That guy did not smear AOC with a right-wing talking point.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen the
video? There's a lot of stupid Republican talking points against AOC I don't agree with. He called her out for her voting record, and they booed him.
Do you have the video, Nick, that you can
let's play the video again. Why not? We may have new viewers, so
no, for Rome. I don't know if Rome's seen that.
Yeah, we can show it to Rome too. I got a bookmark somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. Someone say something while I find it.
I'll read that. I'll thank you for the super chat if nobody read this. Thank you, Julio. War is a racket. Major General Smedley F. Butler. I think I said that name right. DSA is a cult. Can we stop with DSA now, please? When you say stop, you mean stop supporting them, or you mean stop bringing them up?
I think they may just supporting them. That's what it seems like, right? Because we had to call out the people who are sheep herding people into the capitalist imperialist party. This is something that Lenin, this is something that our black revolutionary leaders did all the time. This is why Malcolm X used to have fights with MLK. Like the left is supposed to discipline the left. Iron is supposed to sharpen iron.
Right.
When you have people that cry about, oh my God, left is infighting, that's bullshit. Revolutions, they have a ton of infighting. That's how it works. But anyway, I think I found a video.
Agree with you and just get on with it. Like, dude, we are talking about saving lives. We are talking about the future of generations here. You know what I'm talking about? And teaching people, feeding people. Like, we can't just say, oh, well, like okay, we all are workers, you know, activists and whatnot. If I was to say to CJ, well, I don't think that we should feed the people. I think that we should do some blah, blah. And he just don't feel it. And he'd be like, okay. Like, how are we going to get anything done, dog, if we just sitting here agreeing with each other? Like, no, what? Rome, is you out of your mind? No, we got to
like, I mean, but the idea that we're people think we're just going to agree on a lot of things. The way you make something better is with disagreement or talk.
Yes.
That's how you make things better.
Hey, CJ, Rome, they don't know, man. They don't know how the screaming matches we have behind the scenes.
Right.
They don't know. And the thing is, we usually get out stronger, bro. There are times where we screaming at each other, but we came out stronger. And we actually talked about this before, CJ. I think this is the toxic positivity that affected a lot of people. It literally comes from bourgeoisie culture, from the upper class culture where they value decorum over anything else. So they don't care if the message is wrong, if they're steering the community in the wrong direction. If you call out their leadership, you're being uncivil. You're being mean. And we're gonna show you the Austin DSA clip again. Look at the AOC fans and their response to this guy who is on point, not using any smear attacks, literally just calling out for a record, and they boo him because he is being uncivil. This is the toxicity of civility politics that me, CJ, and Rome, we've been railing against. Fuck that shit. It's actually healthy to hate your oppressors. But anyway, let's watch the video.
About that a little bit too, because you refuse to fight tooth and nail against the Iron Dome funding. You refuse to stand.
Why you booing me? I'm right.
Let's talk about it. Because let's actually start on that note, right? Because I don't believe in elephants in the room.
Here we go with this shit.
Because we are all here in solidarity with human rights for Palestinians and Palestinian kids. So if we care about this, my brother, if we care about it, we gotta be about it. Yeah, we gotta be about it. And when the votes happen, they have to.
But you sat there and cried while you voted president. He just said
that guy and that mentality is what we need more of. And when you see people, when those DSA shit lives boo you, you gotta have the Rick and Morty mindset. I don't care what you booing for. I seen what you cheer for. I don't care. I don't give a fuck if you boo me if I'm right. And that's gotta be the mindset.
How do we know now? This was a DSA event. When we say DSA, this is a DSA event.
Yeah, literally at the video, you can see Austin DSA.
Oh, I was just looking at the
Democratic Socialists of America.
Wow.
Which there's some local DSA groups that do good work, but we have seen over the last few years national leadership.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot about DSA.
Yes,
the local ones are good.
That's why I always tell the local ones, like, yes, you all might be doing good, but they always get reversed.
You gotta challenge their leadership.
Yeah, it's always going to get reversed because at the head, you get nothing done. Like really, nothing is pushed, and they are anti-communism. So you would go no further than what you are right now.
Because they're anti-communist, they believe in a top-down approach. And I always add that caveat because I know I know people in DSA that actually engage in mutual aid, that engage in actual good left politics, right? But they are bottled down and they are held back by national leadership. and they don't challenge them, because if they challenge them, they get booed. You see what happens, and because they're anti-communist, they don't believe in a top-down approach. I mean, they do believe in a top-down approach, and they don't understand how like real Marxist communist thought is the most democratic, because we talk about the dictatorship of the proletariat. So if the group is right and we call out leadership, why would that make you uncomfortable? Why would that be considered uncivil? When the proletariat calls out AOC for a voting record, why would that be considered uncivil?
Right.
They think it's uncivil because we're on the bottom.
She's the same one that told us to make these politicians uncomfortable, but now that she get her seat, she like, well, what she saying? You gonna be about it?
Yeah, her answer was such a non-answer. It was such a non-answer. It didn't address the issue.
You are the
all.
only person with power here, lady.
It was terrible, just terrible.
And once again, that's just, I don't know how people defend it. I just really don't. Zoya, you have any thoughts? I'm gonna really get into the Chris Hedges article next. But Zoya, what's your thoughts?
I mean, all of these organizations, unfortunately, the moment they become effective, they get co-opted, and because of top-down leadership, it's really easy to buy off the people at the top. So we've seen it happen with Sunrise. We saw it happen with Black Lives Matter. Yeah, it's not going to stop happening. This is why it's so important to build horizontal structures. And I've told DSA members, and there really are passionate and good people involved, that they don't need DSA to do the work in community that they're doing. I'm like, save your membership fees and use them for your community.
Yeah, they're like I said, that's a good point. They don't need them. They don't need them. But I always add that caveat, because I think that is important to say. My criticism is of the national leadership, and that's the same with Black Lives Matter, because I know local Black Lives Matter activists that are about that shit. A lot of them was killed in Ferguson. So when I criticize the organization, I'm criticizing the top. The same when I criticize the trucker convoy. Some people got mad at me, but I'm like, bro, I'm looking at the capitalists on the top that are gonna stop short at that mandates. I'm telling you, they're gonna stop short at the mandates, and they're gonna fight anything that advances workers' rights. And that's not all of them, but that's some of the people at the top. So that's what you gotta do when you look at these movements. Who on the top? Who's guiding the movement? Is it up or down? Is it horizontal? And because we don't have revolutionary discipline, a lot of movements kind of forget about the fact that it's the group that matters, what the community believes that matters, not some fucking figurehead that's gonna sell you out at the end of the day because he's gonna get a book deal. He might get a Netflix deal. You know what I mean? That's how movements get co-opted. Or shit. Or the leader could die. Something might happen to the leader. The leader died, and then what happens to the movement? The movement devolves because there wasn't any horizontal structures. Everything was formatted from the top down. But when the leader goes out, everything crumbles. That's when successful revolutions happen. Those revolutions are successful because when the top people die in the revolution is still strong because you still got generals and soldiers that's upholding that. And that's why I want the U.S. left to learn more about. I'm learning more about it too. I'm learning a lot, trying to get better at this shit. But when you see Rome opening thrift stores, which once again I'm so proud of them doing that, this is community power. This is us deciding. We don't need to donate to DSA. We don't need to donate to Justice Democrats to improve our community. Rome, like, fuck it, I'll just get a thrift store.
If y'all ain't gonna listen, I'm gonna do my bro. I've been these ideas are nothing new. All of our leaders have been saying this for generations now. Hey, if y'all not gonna do it, y'all got all this money, you sitting around waiting for your Superman or your Goku to come along and take over the Democratic Party and have the Republican Party shaking in their boot. Man, keep dreaming, bro, and keep reading the damn comic books. But I got to get out here because people are living in today's time, and we ain't got too much of it.
Hey, Nick, let me share something here.
You want to answer this chat? Real quick?
I was just about to put this one up. Okay,
yeah.
I was gonna ask you if I can. It says I donated $5 yesterday. Asking, I'm sorry, I missed your super chat. Thank you for. It says what thoughts on Sabi's video on Hassan saying police should brutalize people in Ottawa. Of course, police.
I didn't even see that.
I saw.
I mean, I don't have any thoughts on Hassan. Like, I don't in particular follow that guy or vouch I don't take them seriously. But anyone saying police should brutalize anyone is wrong. But we don't need to know. I don't need to say that about Hassan to know that that guy is not serious and he's not a socialist. Like, we all know that. And that comment, if he said that, doesn't make, that's not like that's the first thing that makes him not a communist. Not a socialist. You know what I mean? Like, he's never been that.
That's why this is why I'm highlighting the work of Chris Hedges today, because I have a suggestion for you guys. I suggest that you guys take a mental health break from these people. I seen the video. I seen it in passing. It didn't take too long. I watched it, and when I watch, I'm like, it's unserious. Like, you guys are laughing when I say it. I'm not trying to make it a catchphrase, but what other thing can I say in response to most people's politics? When you live the struggle like me and CJ and Rome, what a lot of people say and what a lot of people cover is unserious, and I'm kind of bored with it. I'm honestly kind of bored with it. So I suggest taking the mental health break from these people, because they say crazy shit just so they can get the headlines, so they get more views. These people are capitalists.
Yeah.
They're businessmen. Everything they do and say is very carefully planned. So don't play into their game. Create your own little bubble. Stop focusing on these people. That's what I would
not to say that that's what Assyria that's what Assyria is doing. I'm not saying that's not necessarily.
Yeah. I like
just in general,
like
the topic of Hassan is here. Just in general, like I don't focus. Like I literally don't read them. Like, I don't know about, for example, I know the least about Elon Musk. I don't know. I literally avoid. I don't want to know. Besides the catastrophic stuff that I hear from Nick, like, hey, this stuff you need to know. Outside of that, I'm not trying to hear anything about nothing.
It's only whenever there's an important issue. Like, I remember I covered Voss when he said something crazy about Syria, and I'm like, all right, this is foreign policy. This is my alley. I had to say something there, but for the most part,
he said, she said stuff like,
they come at this point. There's so much shit to cover. We talk about this every Monday. We don't got enough time. Like, I'm trying to cover what's going on in Afghanistan every day. Fucking insane work. We talk about I have Lee Camp. He's gonna be on next Friday. I'm hyped for that. I have Luna Oy coming on. We're gonna talk about the history of Vietnam.
That's like,
I'm trying to talk. Like, there's too much stuff that's going on in this crazy times. Social media censorship is crazy. Police is killing people and stealing our wealth. You got worker strikes all over the country. You got U.S. sanctions that are killing millions of people. You got social uprisings in the global south that leading to socialist leaders winning. You got all this shit going on. But people can't stop focusing on these fucking clowns. And I understand that there's importance in dunking on them, but there's too much shit, right?
But that's why I always say, Nick, and this is not a reflection on him asking me about Hassan, but like when people, like when I bring up something and your response is something about Jimmy Dore said this, and I'm like, you're just telling me that's a reflection on how serious you're gonna be about a real revolution.
Hey, CJ,
you know what I mean? When Roman's like, hey, it's time to get the gats and let's go. They're gonna be like, my nails. What? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not gonna be any sort of level of engagement. So so put it this way, Nick. Indigenous people, you're not gonna find poor, like where we just had to take you in Compton. They ain't gonna be talking about Hassan. No. They're talking about where their next meal is gonna be. They're talking about police brutality. You get what I'm saying? They're not gonna bring up this stuff.
Hey, CJ. It's so funny because I lose my patience over this and I clown people over this shit, because we would be talking about some serious ass shit. Like, we would be like, yo, black people are having their wealth stolen by civil asset forfeiture. Yo, there was this cop that shot this black dude on the back of his head. They refused to release the body cam footage. Like, we would be talking about some real ass shit. Then I would see a comment like, fucking Jimmy Dore said that. I'm like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything we just said?
Look, this is what they caught up on right now. Even throughout the mountains that we have moved, even through the shit that we moved through with them, we have moved on and got bigger. We're still doing good, and we're gonna and they still stuck in them same loops.
Yes,
and they only come back to us like when it's election time and stuff like that. they got, you know what I'm saying? They in that infinity loop of electoral politics. So they come at us, you know what I'm saying, from here to there because they know we're gonna hit those radars. Don't trust AOC. You know what I'm saying? And one thing they don't want is a whole bunch of black people talking about don't vote. Because that's their whole nick. That's the whole thing. That's their whole nick. Is black people, you know what I'm saying, telling people, oh, well, we need Democrats in office. Like, no.
No, I can't remember who I was just talking about this to. Was it you, Nick, yesterday? Where I was like, it's so important for the duopoly to have black people invested in the duopoly, in Democrats, because if once black people as a whole figure out that the Republicans and Democrats isn't an option, what we're going to do is revert back to our revolutionary roots. And that's what they don't want to have happen. They have to have black people as a whole buying into the Democrats. They have to have that. Because once we say these two people are not an option for us as a whole,
yeah, that's when they get scared.
That's when they get scared. Yeah.
I do want to bring up that this is a good counterpoint to I kind of agree to. I agree to it to a point. There's got to be a good balance. I do agree with this. That's why I want to point out it's a good counterpoint. I think pointing to a sign is important because Caleb Maupin's critique. I actually just had Caleb Maupin on.
Explain what that is.
He actually wrote in great detail how breadtooth serves imperialism, and they are on a mission to prove him correct. And I have him on. There's so many examples, and like his critique is on point. It's kind of similar to what we say as well. And it is important to kind of call them out because they got giant audiences, and the same way that I was a young lib, and I remember I used to like Stephen Colbert. I remember I used to like Bill Maher. I think a lot of these Gen Z like shit libs are kind of in that phase where they like Vosh and like they like Hassan. I already hear from like people like older Gen Z people like, yeah, I actually used to watch Hassan, then I got older. I'm like, oh yeah, he kind of shit libby. So I think they're gonna go through the same thing. And then new Gen Z people come. I think Gen like A gonna come up, and then they're gonna fill the audience up. It's an endless cycle. So there's a good point. I do want to bring up that kind of point.
But I don't see that as the same. I don't necessarily see that as the same thing. Having a critique coming from a critique of a critique on imperialism, talking about Hassan is not typically the content that you see about Hassan. You get what I'm saying? So there's a difference. If the critique was that way in most of the content you see, and not this like scandalous sort of name calling kind of thing, that's a different story
about this bitch ass nigga. He's rich,
yeah, and
when he's seen those people being routed, tearing up property, the first thing that came to his mind was his property. So of course he's going to use those. He's going to be the same person to use those type of police officers to, keep the people away from his type of property. So yes, it comes. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, we just explained to you guys how people are not socialists and they don't move in socialist ways. But we don't protect property. We protect people.
Yeah, fuck private property. Fuck private property. You got now like we talked about this yesterday, CJ. Now white people will agree with us on the tactics because when it comes to breaking down social movements, everything else is noise. The only thing that matters is the ask, the tactics, and the people. Do you approve of those three things? And when you look at the convoy, no matter what, no matter if you agree with the ask or the people, there is no doubt that the tactics that they are using are tactics that the left need to adopt. Mm-hmm. And this is the same thing we're going to do during a general strike. So the people who don't agree with the ask of the truckers, they're saying shit like, oh my God, I can't believe the truckers are shutting down economies. The truckers are hurting small businesses, guys. Right. Shut the fuck up. What do you guys think this Marxist revolution is going to look like? You guys think we're going to be nice to No, nigga, we got to change society.
So, we were just Rome and I were just talking about this at the spot at the plug spot. We were saying how converting Crips and Bloods because we need people that understand the grittiness of what a revolution is going to be about. It's not going to be nice. It's not going to be a nice.
I need people
exercise
that know how it's like to be on the battlefield. I don't need you motherfuckers out here talking about, oh, well, if you punch a Nazi, you're no better than that. Shut the fuck up. Like we were just talking, like, yeah, we were talking about this earlier. How are you going to combat these Nazis when you see them marching on your grounds with weapons? They are ready. So how are you going to combat them?
Remember that Nazi that was standing out there in Rome? You quote tweeted that was and that tweet you sent out went viral. You was like, "Why the fuck y'all letting him stand there?" And then have pictures of this society.
That's his freedom. You're gonna go to jail over his. Yes, you have freedom, but you don't have freedom of consequences. I can still come up as a man, as a woman, and beat the shit out of you from being.
You're free to do that. Yeah. That doesn't mean you're free from consequences.
Yeah, like I can still come up and give you the hands, like. But
because what I think, I'm not necessarily endorsing this. What I'm saying is, how else will you make them understand you can't just come out and be bold like this, and do this? You get what I'm saying? How else do you counter that?
How do you stop them? How do you stop them?
All you gotta do is debate them.
You're gonna throw Marxist books at them? You're gonna tell them read page 17 and then connect it to. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna connect with them in some type of way? You can't even have conversations without blocking people. You can't even, what the hell are you gonna do? You're gonna get on the ground. I don't believe it. I don't believe none of these people. I think they all are in line with them in some type of way. As far as like the biggest mouths, the progressives, these people live in gentrified neighborhoods.
Yep.
Nigga. It'd be the biggest mouths, but whatever, man.
Hold on, I'm trying to. We're gonna make you uncomfortable. If it make you uncomfortable, I really don't give a fuck. If this make you uncomfortable, we are a pro-Nazi punching channel. If you guys haven't tell, and that is one of them differences that if you disagree with us on this, it just that's really hard for us to reconcile, right? So as a martial artist, I have fantasized about doing this many times. I'm not gonna lie. And anyway, we gotta get in real trouble. But I'm gonna end this part on this, and then we get back into the segment. But I just tweet without comment. I just tweet this without comment.
Ooh, man, that was a stiff one.
This guy is a legend. A fucking legend. This guy is. A fucking legend. This guy is. That's
the other guy clapping. That's the part. The one on the left. You see the clapping.
Hell yeah.
And as a boxing enthusiast and as a martial artist, look at the follow through. You know what I'm saying, bro? That is beautiful too. It was not none of that sissy ass shit. A lot of people like to punch with the palm. Like they don't know how to turn the punch over. Look at this guy. He turned the punch over on the chin.
He turns his hips too. You see, he turns his hips.
He turned into it.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
This is beautiful.
He tried to knock him out for sure. He hit him with at least 3 pounds.
This is beautiful, and this is actually based. And if you guys disagree with that, and I guess we have a big difference in opinion on that. I'm sorry. So let's get into Chris Hedges.
That was a fun segment.
Yeah, like that, you guys already know.
Gotta do more of that. We do a lot of serious segments, Nick. Yeah, you gotta do more fun segments.
Yeah, that's how I told you this is gonna be a fun show because I didn't know that CJ and Ron gonna crash today. We still got Zoya in the house too. I'm sorry, Zoya, but we got the big three, the founders, and feel free to interrupt us anytime.
Yeah, no, I don't mind. I enjoy listening to you guys. I heard someone in comments was like, "Is she asleep?" No, I'm just listening in too. We're all hanging out. On Hassan, I don't want to center podcasters either because they get the oxygen of the movement too. But sometimes, like when we're organizing the General Strike Summit or a March for Medicare for All, him and his little gang always come in hating and sabotaging our work. We have no choice but to engage.
Yes.
What's that? Zoya always.
Because they come here trolling sometimes.
Yeah, we didn't like the General Strike is a perfect example.
When he was attacking us, they actually came up to our live. We was like, damn, like it's a lot of people here. Sound like, I don't know, something happened, and like it must be a glitch in the system. We get a lot of fucking viewers. But
by the way, if you're on left Twitter, the easiest way to get likes is just post a gif of a Nazi getting punched. If you're in the game for that, I'm just telling you, gotta do that. Anyway, let's get to the next segment. Chris Hedges was right the entire time about Bernie Sanders. And as someone I've never been a secret fan to anyone. The same way that I abandoned Barack Obama because Dr. Cornel West played a very important role in breaking my kind of dissonance over Barack Obama when I was a younger black liberal, whatever. That's kind of what Chris Hedges did with Bernie, right? So even when I liked Bernie, even when I was canvassing for Bernie, even when I thought Bernie was the route that we should go as a movement, right? I still would hear criticisms of Bernie from people like Chris Hedges, and I'd be like, damn, that's on point. I'm like, I ain't gonna lie, that's on point. And that's why I criticize the AOC sycophants that we see in that video. You see how AOC was called out and then they immediately stopped. Their reflex is to boo. And when I like Bernie, and when I like a politician, when someone exposed what they did wrong, my reflex isn't to boo. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know a lot of this stuff. I was like, oh, that's interesting. I might have to look more into that. I might have to weigh pros versus cons. And you see, that's the difference between someone who's actually intellectually honest and someone who's a partisan actor. And the AOC people who booed the anti-war activists is a great example of that. The many people who used to follow and like my work who hate me now because I criticize Bernie and the squad. They feel like I betrayed them. You see that they're clowns. You see their politics. So I had to continue to call this out. So even in my time of liking Bernie, I would hear criticisms. My sister Misty used to criticize Bernie all the time. I used to hear criticisms of Bernie from the left all the time. And I'm like, I didn't cancel those people. I was like, damn, that's interesting. I never thought about it like that, right? So Chris Hedges came out with a new article. He one of the must-read people. Like I mentioned before, like there are a few people that come out with articles, and I almost had to read them. Chris Hedges, Angela Davis is one of them. Aaron Mate. I can list them all day. But there's a few people that Assault Rod is another one. The International Leftist Coalition. Her foreign policy articles are bangers, man. How you guys think I know about this shit? I steal most of this shit from Assault. But anyway. So Chris Hedges he wrote an op-ed where he essentially summed up everything we've been saying on this channel for the last few years. So over the last year, we've been live as a channel, right? So let's dive into the article. It's very, very interesting. I want to give people like this more attention instead of those clowns and bozos, right? So this is his article. And rewind, watch our videos, watch Nick and CJ show episode 1. Nick and CJ show episode 2. Isn't this what we've been saying? Chris Hedges, Democrats, the more effective evil.
Yep.
We're not saying Republicans are not evil. Republicans are definitely evil. But when I look at the average conservative now, they're kind of they're clowns who are being propped up by the foolishness of the Democratic Party. If the Democratic Party really wanted to, they could end this shit. Legalize marijuana, give us health care, defund the police. Bam. Hell, I'll make it even more moderate. Cancel student loan debt. Give us Medicare for all. I won't even throw in defund the police and then legalize marijuana. If the Democratic Party just did that, the Republican Party and the conservative movement as we know it would not exist. I'm just letting you guys know that. So when people ask me why do I go after Democrats so much, honestly, because I view conservatives, they're intellectual lightweights, and they're a joke. And they always lose at the end of the day. It's the liberals that hold us back. The conservatives was against the gay rights movement. Did they win that one? They were against women getting voting rights. They always lose. It's the liberals that hold back progress. That's my take.
Well, my take is what I always say about why I don't talk about Republicans as much is because even in their own duopoly narrative, Republicans are the bad guys. So we have to dispel the idea that there's a good guy in the duopoly, and that's why it's important to attack the Democrats because they're the ones that's seen as the better alternative, the lesser of the two evil. And we have to make them understand they're the more effective evil, which makes them worse to me. Because no Republican would ever been able to pass a 1994 crime bill. No Republican president could have.
Reagan couldn't. Reagan literally could not.
that only could be passed through a Democrat.
He told Joe Biden he was out of his mind.
Exactly.
So yeah, spoiler alert. Chris Hedges, big person, does give a shout out to late great Glenn Ford in this article as well, who also talk about how the Democratic Party was the more effective evil. And this is when I realized that we have a split on the quote unquote left, that we cannot. And people always say, "Can you make up?" Actually, you talk about this a lot on your show. Like, can we make ground with like the boutique left, like the progressive left, right? This is kind of why I don't think we can. Because when I quite literally explained to Vosh, I explained to David Doe, I explained to Mike Figueredo, I was like, bro, if you're black, and if you're a disenfranchised community, how can you possibly say the Democratic Party is the lesser two evils after the Clinton war against kids, the Clinton war against poverty? Everything that the working class went through happened in the 90s under the Clintons. And they attacked me personally. They were like, "You're a red brown, you're a Nazbull." But this is literally what shit that Chris Hedges wrote. They didn't attack Chris Hedges. You see where the classism is? So when Chris Hedges write these articles that I'm about to share you, they like, "Oh, Chris Hedges, he's so smart." When Dr. Cornel West says that Bernie is weak on imperialism, they say, "Oh my, Dr. Cornel West, he's so smart." But when a poor black person says the same shit that they do, they say, "Oh, Nick, you're a crazy radical. You're a Nazbull." But I'm saying the same shit as you about to see in this article that Chris Hedges and people like Dr. Cornel West and Glenn Ford says, right? So let's go into the article and see what I mean. Do you guys have anything else you want to add before I get into it?
No, go ahead. Not me.
So we probably did take breaks in between paragraphs. This is a really well-written piece. So this is the subheadline. The U.S. is a de facto one-party state where ideology of the national security is sacrosanct. That's a new word for me. Unsustainable debt props up the empire, and the primary business is war. Chris Hedges, he's too advanced of a writer for me, guys. But anyway, this is the first paragraph. When all else fails, when you are clueless on how to halt a 7.5% inflation rate, when your Build Back Better bill is gutted, when you renegade, so pretty much when you fail on your promise to raise the minimum wage or forgive student loan debt, when you can't halt the Republican suppression of voting rights, we have no idea how to handle the pandemic, which have claimed 900,000 lives, which is 16% of the world's total death, although the U.S. is less than 5% of the world's population. Chris Hedges, less than one paragraph in, is already going hard in the paint on the failures of the Biden administration. Now compare that to the messaging that's coming from Pamela Jayapal and AOC, who's saying Biden's doing better than expected. Do you see the difference? Do you believe AOC or do you believe Chris Hedges? What side are you on? I'm asking, what side are you on? Are you on the side of Vosh or do you believe in Chris Hedges?
Bro, what the fuck is wrong with... Bro, take a look in the mirror. Why are you following politicians in the first place, dude? You think you are into politics? You're not into politics. You're crazy, man. What the fuck is wrong with you? And if you're following a politician, you don't move to the left or to the right. You move how they tell you to move. You move how they move. You're gonna you see how these DSA people just was protecting AOC when somebody had rightfully called her out about the Iron Dome. She didn't stand up. They probably just heard his twang and was like, "Oh, that's a conservative."
Yeah, they immediately thought he was like some sort of Tucker Carlson plan or something. I bet. But let's continue with the article, and you guys can interrupt at any time because we going through this, and I want you guys live thoughts. I read like 1/3 of this, and I was literally like, "God, this is so good." I want to give you guys reaction to it. So I literally got halfway in. He already dropping mad data on it. So I left off right here. When the stock market fluctuates on wild roller coaster rise of highs and lows, and when little help the government offered to the labor force, half of whom, 80 million, experienced a period of unemployment last year. So what he's saying in this last part of the paragraph, I finished it, but he's pretty much talking about how Joe Biden failed the working class, sees the termination of extended unemployment benefits, rental insurance, forbearance for student loans, emergency checks, the moratorium on evictions, the expansion of a child tax credit, where they allowed it to expire. So liberals, they continue to lie, by the way, because that was based on increasing the minimum wage to $15 an hour. But they would say, you know, Biden lifted like 1/3 of the kids out of poverty. What was the crazy number they used? They was like, Biden lifted so many kids out of poverty. Okay,
it was 40 or something like that.
It was like 40%. What number did they use? I'm blanking on it. 40. It was like some fucking crazy ass number. But then they said half. Yeah. So they was like we lifted half of people out of poverty, and from day one you had shit-lib progressives that were repeating that. You have Bernie Sanders who was repeating propaganda coming from the White House. We explained before, if you look at the poverty rate and you look at how much child tax credit gave the average family, do you guys really believe a single mother that had 2 kids that is making $27,000 to $28,000 a year is out of poverty? They're not. That is what the child tax credit did. But the capitalists, they have low expectations. They will say, as long as you have a house and as long as you literally are not dying of starvation, you are out of poverty. As a Marxist, I'm saying you got to have people that are well-fed, well-educated, that are comfortable. Then you can say they're out of poverty. $30,000 is not that. So as our channel debunked that, other progressives that was repeating that. But despite that propaganda, even if you believed it, Biden technically pulled those kids back into poverty, right? So if they lifted 50% of kids out of poverty when they instituted child tax credit, does that mean that Biden put 50% of kids into poverty when they allow it to expire? Why isn't Bernie and AOC calling that out? I have questions. Chris Hedges have questions too, apparently. We are only one paragraph in, and you already see the difference between Chris Hedges and Sam Cedar. You see the difference between Chris Hedges and Cenk Uygur. What side are you on? I know what side I'm on. And there's a very important point that we get to continue to this article. I have no idea how long this live stream is going to be today. This article is super quality. So I actually made this point. God, and this is a plea. I really hope that Chris Hedges Google his name and he find this. I have reached out for an interview for Chris Hedges multiple times. I would love for it to happen. We are still a small channel. We have no clout. But it will happen one day. But I have said this. Literally, I tweeted this last week. I did a live stream while explaining this. You must manufacture an existential threat. Terrorists at home. Russians and Chinese abroad. Be afraid. Be afraid. White supremacist trucker convoys. The KKK in your backyard. Muslim extremists gonna commit terrorism. Oh my God. Immigrants across the border. They're gonna steal your jobs. Be afraid. This is capitalism in decay. You guys can interrupt me anytime, by the way. There's just great stuff here. I'm kind of summing up this part, but you see, this is where Chris Hedges give a shout out to the great Glenn Ford. Democrats, as journalist and co-founder of Black Agenda Report, Glenn Ford said, are not the lesser evil. They are the most effective evil, or the more effective evil, to quote him directly here. Once again, Chris Hedges and Glenn Ford, somehow they can say this. But when I say this, hell, even when Jimmy Dore says this, people smear us, right? So let's go to this next part here. The U.S. burdened by de facto. I love how Chris Hedges put this, and I love proper narrative control, right? How you frame your issues as a leftist. Look at how he frames this. The U.S. burdened by de facto tax boycotts by the rich and corporations. Write that down. Mm-hmm. What the rich is doing right now, they are tax boycotting. It's a capital strike what the capitalist class are doing to us. When they refuse to increase our wages, when they have offshore tax accounts that have been exposed, that our politicians and the police, they don't go after them because they admit that it's too expensive because they got lawyers. So they rather go after the working class. So when you have the rich who, instead of actually find it to be patriotic to fund public programs with your wealth, they will say, fuck you, I'm gonna hide my money, even though I have too much I can't even spend. So look at Chris Hedges and how he framed this here. Write that down. The U.S. burdened by de facto tax boycotts by the rich and corporations is sinking into debt. And as someone who truly believes in progressive economics, all our problems stems from the fact that our ruling class, our capitalist class, don't give a fuck about you or the community, which is why I believe we should seize the wealth. We should seize the distribution of power, because I think we can do better. It's literally that simple. Nick, why are you a socialist? Because we can do better than them. They destroyed our society.
We are the workers who keep this shit going, bro. We are the workers. Like, okay, well, who's gonna keep this stuff? We keep it going. The planes, we keep them in the air. We keep the trains going on the ground. We keep your car running. We are the workers, dude. Stop thinking that you need a master.
Yeah.
In order,
You need permission. No. And JB is JB. Welcome. I mean, my vote is yes. He's right here in the comment.
Yeah, hey, JB, jump on, bro.
Yeah, he'll join us.
Get your ass over here.
he ain't doing that.
It's supposed to be just me. Actually, it's supposed to be just me today. Then I hit Zoya up because Zoya is she's my co-host now. I'm claiming her. And then Roman CJ, they kicking in California. I'm jealous as hell. Now we got JB joining us today. Yo, the barbecue that we are throwing this summer in Kansas City is about to be lit. If you're a Kansas City comrade, I'm telling you, that KC barbecue.
Hey, I hear KC has some of the top barbecue in the world.
I gotta find some cards.
Yeah, we don't do a lot of shit right, but we get barbecue right. We get barbecue right. That's for damn sure. I'm almost waiting for JB to jump on.
Give me y'all bridge cards. I need to buy some food.
While you guys are waiting for him to jump on, the previous paragraph, I really like what he says here. You must manufacture an existential threat. Terrorists at home, Russians and Chinese abroad, expand state power in the name of national security, beat the drums of war. War is the antidote to divert public attention from government corruption and incompetence. And no one plays the game better than the Democratic Party. Yes. That reminded me, if you guys remember what Bill Clinton did when he was getting impeached, December 16th, 1998, he decided that to launch an airstrike against Iraq, right as he was about to get impeached.
That's what they do.
It's a long-standing tradition.
Yeah,
all of them did it. All of them. Remember, Barack Obama kept getting called up because he was going after whistleblowers and whatnot. He just kept going after, kept bombing people. It's like he had an itch or something.
Yeah,
like,
terrible.
Dude, they actually ran out of bombs under Obama.
JP, what's up?
What's going on, my people? Good to see you. Zoya, I want to say a special hello to you. Good to see you, madam.
JB, well. I'm bowing to you as well.
I'm gonna do a curtsy, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna switch roles today.
I hope I get a chance to catch Rome while he's in LA and we can blaze one up.
Oh shit, I forgot. Oh yeah, out there too.
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be
damn
fun.
It. I hate this guy.
I'm gonna be here for a minute.
Yeah. But I like
California? Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that.
But I like what you're saying, especially about how the Democratic Party operates. The thing is that the prime directive of the Democratic Party has not changed ever since its inception. Remember that the Democratic Party was actually the party of the racists, and so, sorry, I can't talk tonight. But the thing is that the prime directive hasn't changed, just like the prime directive of the police has not changed. And for the most part, the prime directive of the Republican Party hasn't really changed. So because we've been observing this, a lot of people, especially those of us, are observing them and saying, you know what, there's absolutely no reason why we can't just go outside of them and do what we need to do in order to have a much better government instead of these, fascistic, yahoos trying to funnel money and riches into just a small group of people, namely, beyond the Jeff Bezos and people like that, because I love how Sabi actually talks about that. They're like the third people on the rung. You have people like the central bankers, and you have the bankers as well that are actually the ones who are running the show. So I love that, Chris Hedges actually brings that out. I think that as long as we continue to keep talking about it, it puts it out into the ether. And those of you who are watching right now, please make sure to, if you haven't liked it, what the hell are you doing? Make sure to like the stream. I mean, you got CJ and Rome sitting together. Like the damn stream. But this is one of the reasons why we put these things out there, so that the idea comes to people and they go, yo, this is what's really wrong with everything that's going on. And we literally have the power to be able to change things just by banding together. And this is something that I know that CJ, Rome, Nick, and Zoya always talk about, is banding together, because, we realize it's really about class, ultimately.
So this is a interesting comment. I may piss some people off, because a lot of people talk about the Great Reset, and this is my take on the Great Reset, and I would love to hear what you guys' take on it is. Yeah. But the Great Reset is just a repackaged way of saying class war. Stop being afraid of saying it. It's class war. Because what capitalists say, they're like, oh, the Great Reset is all these billionaires, all these heads of state getting together, and they about to reorganize and restructure our society. Yes, you just described a class war that Marx has been describing for decades. Congratulations for catching up. Thank you.
Wait, is that what the Great Reset is? Is that what the official?
Look at the chat. I'm asking, if you're a Great Reset person, about it more. I am open to give. I would love to talk to you. But everything I've seen about it, I'm like, based on what I've seen, they saying the Great Reset is the most important thing to pay attention to, because they see the Davos people, they see the billionaire class joining together, and they're saying they are writing new laws, like the big tech collusion, like they are using that as an example. They even use the military industrial complex as an example. But I'm saying, like, this is what we wrote about in our Marxist theories for decades, guys. Right. So this is just a way for capitalists to describe class war.
I just made a video about this. I was like, I wish conservatives stop blaming every law that these capitalists sign and is pushing for on communism. Like, that's not. Why would a capitalist politician push a communist law in America? Dude, if they was pushing communism, you guys would have had healthcare, free housing. Like, what the hell? Okay, if they're pushing communism with these mandates or whatever, why aren't they doing what China is doing and making sure that the people have, food and, tests overall?
All that stuff they manufacture,
Like, y'all, they just thought that they had never been on this side of capitalism, the shitty end of the stick. Now they are getting what we had, and they can't believe it. So now it has to be communism. It has to be whatever fuck I don't like. Whatever I don't like, it has to be communism. Like, no, stop blaming that shit on us. We have nothing to do with it. These are the people that you put into power. You've been voting for. You put in your neighborhood. Nothing communism about it, bro. Stop it.
Can I address something really quick?
Yeah, go ahead. We're having fun, man.
Okay. Ashura asked me to address a kid's question. A kid says, "What up, RB and crew? Is there any opportunity to connect with the likes of Katie Halper and Bree on their attempts to highlight non-corporate candidates to educate them on a losing strategy? Thanks."
I'm not here to yell and disagree at anyone, but I'm always open to conversation. I'm always open. We talked to Bree before. We had Katie Halper on. Yeah, these are very busy people. And once again, we don't have a lot of clout.
You put that comment up there?
Yeah, you put the comment up. We don't have a lot of clout, guys. It's hard to like when people come on our show, they're doing us a favor. So it's hard to get people to come on, and especially when they talk to us and we're challenging their worldview. Like, we're challenging the worldview that they believe in and taking on the Democratic Party. the chances of them wanting to have the conversation is pretty low. But I am willing to have that, and I'm willing to do it in a very civil way because I'm not like one of the people that like.
But I don't think. Let me just say this because I covered this event they're doing. It's tomorrow, right?
Yep.
Yeah, tomorrow. This event they're doing tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday the 16th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I cover this and looked into it. Right. And this is Marianne Williamson event. So I wouldn't look at Katie Halpert or Bree as
I don't really know that much about
setting that are setting this up. They're more in the mode of journalists who's been invited to talk about, to have a conversation. So that's more of how I would look at them. So if we were to have a conversation about, attempts to highlight non-corporate candidate and educate them on how this is not working, the person we need to educate is Marianne Williamson. Is the person we would need to educate.
Oh man,
in that situation, in this particular situation.
But one thing I think that needs to be said is, like, for instance, we would just highlight, like the question that I asked: are you going to be having any third-party candidates? If that is not something that you're going to do, then we can have a more deeper, more assertive conversation about, about what she's doing. But as far as I know, I don't know. But I mean, well, I kind of do know because, you look at her website, look at the people who are running, they're all seem to be running in the Democratic Party. But at the same time, is she willing to have that conversation with us? I
think Katie Halper and Bree is not Marianne Williamson.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would be a great conversation, but I don't think the person who's asking this question either. I don't think they believe it's going to be some sort of fight. I think it's just a conversation of intellect and belief.
Get money off of keeping you guys in the fucking middle, man. She know what Miss Williamson know what the hell she's doing.
Oh, I know Miss Williamson understands. So tomorrow, listen, if I know JB, you're not available, but tomorrow they're doing their stream. If y'all want to hop on like an hour before their start, is 3 p.m. It will be 3 p.m. Eastern. If y'all want to hop on an hour and just kind of,
I don't know that much about the event. I don't know that much about what's happening because, like I said, I've been so busy with shit going on in my life, and then I've been trying to cover Afghanistan. I've been constantly reading this shit, man, and then trying to read Chris Hedges and all this shit. But I guess it's a conversation worth having. We're in 2022, and the reason why the left is so unorganized, especially in the U.S., because we are not willing to have these discussions under the guise of civility. Like when you look at the global South, when you look at successful movements, like there's harsh debates. Malcolm X called out MLK. They used to have hard disagreements early on, and then they eventually came on the same side because they were willing to have public debate. Once again, like you guys don't know about that. They don't teach you the real history. Like Malcolm X was like, MLK, you too soft, man. You too delusional. If you think these white boys are gonna help you out, we need to start advocating for having our own communities, separating ourselves from capital. And then MLK was like, and I'm gonna find the old video. I'll show you guys the receipt. And MLK himself said that I actually started out too optimistic. That after actually going through the struggle, after being betrayed, I realized that I had this false sense of optimism that didn't really help us. And he started to agree more with Malcolm X. And he started believing, and that's when he really became radical, started speaking out against the Vietnam War. That's when he started advocating for the poor people's army, because he was like, we got to separate ourselves from capitalism. That's really what happened. And that's what we try and do on the left. We try and build a modern space where you can do this shit. As it is right now, a lot of these boutique people, they're like, don't ever criticize me. I'm soft. I don't want to be challenged.
Yeah.
When people challenge me, I mostly laugh because I'm like, you're mostly wrong. Well, it's like, you don't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers a lot of these people. And I'm not saying names, but I'm telling you, Marianne Williamson will never have that conversation with me. Because she don't like me. Because we have a few exchanges on Twitter. And if you guys want to advance Marianne Williamson for like Congress or like House, like local office, like that's like, go ahead. I'm not gonna fight you on that. do your electoral politics thing, right? But if you guys are talking about her for the executive branch, like there's some people that are saying Marianne Williamson should be the 2024 president nominee. After her Afghanistan tweets, after her takes on Israel Palestine, she was one of the people that was like, "What about the Afghanistan women?" And if you have disagreements on people on some stuff, that's okay. But we are talking about the commander in chief, the person who is in charge of the executive branch. You guys are taking someone who her weakness is foreign policy. Why would you put her at her weakest? So why I will advocate for you guys, if you guys do like Marianne, be like run for Senate or something. Well, even that Senate got a lot to do with foreign policy.
Yeah.
Like House, like I don't want her anything to do with foreign policy based on what I've seen with her. And that's not me being mean. That's not me being rude. That's based on shit.
Observation. Like
that's you being anti-imperialist. But let's get to these super chats because they're starting to pile up. RBN crew, please note you have the best show on YouTube and most honest. Truly encourage you to tour the country to grow audience. Salute. This is something we've been talking about. We were just talking about this, and I was talking to Nick yesterday. Like when we're able as a group to tour, to go around. Now, I don't like to use the word tour, but to campaign more, to spread our message at different venues around the country. That's really going to be great. That next
imagine us doing a tour for the poor on a national level.
Yeah,
like Rome been carrying this shit as one guy doing a tour for the poor. But imagine a channel with 100,000 subscribers with the army like that. What we could do. Once again, we got dreams of grandeur here, but why not? Right?
Yeah. Here's the next one. I'll let somebody else take that one.
We'll change the world.
Go ahead, JB. I'll let JB take the question. You can read it. Super chat, JB.
Okay. I say feudalism never went away. A too big to fail institution backed by the government is a lord. The Great Reset is just more of the same capitalism. Thank you so much. Yeah,
but the new world order. I guess that's what they calling it now. It was a new world order.
Yeah, that's what it used to be called. Where's the barbecue? I don't think we have a place yet, or unless right now it's
we gotta do it sometime in the summer. It's
gonna be in Nick's backyard.
Yeah.
Hopefully this summer we can get it.
Because I think you're most central in the country, so the flight would probably be the cheapest.
I'm in the heart of America, guys. Heart of America.
God.
Good old Midwest.
The heart of America isn't it heart of America racist, Nick?
Nah, you fucking West Coast elite. West Coast elite. Glasses looking down on us. We out here, we in the Midwest, okay? We don't have fancy entertainment. We get to the grind, okay? We work 60 hours a week, and I go home, we take care of our kids. And then I have grandkids at 45, and then I take care of them. And then I don't retire. I'm not a fucking socialist. I ain't no fucking commie. I work until I'm 90.
Commie.
Anyway, that's the. I don't know.
Okay, here's the next one. Thanks for this super chat. R.I.P. Edgar Kane, a con, a father of time banking. Oh, this is just one I wanted to put up. Please spread the word, JB. Locked out of the Cool Kids Club. They don't want to. I just wanted to put that up there. That's not a super chat. And then this one. Did we cover this one? I'm not sure.
I didn't see this one yet.
I don't think so. So I can do this one. If you run, make winning secondary, cultivate a following, advise specific action to the crowd, not just voting. Till then, the crowds mean nothing. It was kind of correlated. I saw this earlier. We didn't put it up when you were talking about.
I mean, that's just like campaigning, though. That's just like campaigning. What we did for the progressives, like climate change. You know, we ran on certain issues, and once people got their power, they said "fuck us." But see, the thing is, man, we can't go into these parties or into these governments thinking that we can just pull certain things because you have some type of positions of power. Like some people say, oh, AOC has no power, which is false. You know what I'm saying? But compared to them, she has no power. But compared to us, she can make change for the little with the power that she has. But yeah.
That's a great comment by Sarah.
We're gonna have to just work on the outside and do our own things. Create your own parties, create your own organizations. Stop trying to get into these governments. You're not gonna be able to. What is it like? I might as well become a black cop in Detroit, right? Right. I want to stop the killings and shit. Like, come on.
That's I guess that's the only way.
When Bree had Chris Hedges, maybe we should get back to the main topic too. It don't matter because we having fun today. But when Bree had Chris Hedges and Cashapp Sawant on her show, that was a great episode. By the way, I highly recommend it. Like it was a very civil mini debate that Brianna Joy Gray had with Chris. Now I think the ball's on Brianna Joy. She went in there against Chris Hedges and Cashapp Sawant. And then she didn't completely die either. But they was explaining how you have to run as a third party. And that was the conversation. I'm not going to spoil it. You guys should check it out.
I hadn't seen that. That's the conversation. Yeah. Now I want to go and check that out.
I watched the whole thing. It was good. They told her militancy and protest was needed over politicians. She was uncomfortable. So this is what I advocate for. And I always say we should mostly focus all our effort on community building, mutual aid, and then whatever we can't get done with that, we fill in the gaps with electoral politics. The only role that electoral politics have right now is movement building and building anti-war coalitions. I repeat, that is the only. So instead of going door to door, campaigning for the career of some fuck who doesn't care about you, aka the Justice Democrats, why not go door to door to advocate for a general strike? Why not go door to door to spread awareness about the genocide in Afghanistan and Yemen? We could have third parties that instead of putting so much effort on the ballot, instead of asking for money from working class people, say we are the party that advocate for workers. So your campaign is at the Amazon protest. Your campaign is at the anti-war movement. You're going door to door. You are knocking on doors. And I have not seen that out of anyone. Cashapp Sawant is the only person who I have seen eloquently explain how she is advancing horizontal third-party takeover, which I support. She don't even take any of her paycheck. You guys know that? She's an elected official. She don't take none of it. She's like, I don't want your fucking capital. Doesn't she donate it? I don't know what she does for it.
She takes what the average minimum wage is, and the rest she donates to mutual aid. So she takes about $15 an hour, and then the rest she gives to mutual aid.
Now understand, electoral politics would never ever lead to the revolution. It would never lead to massive change. I want you guys to understand that. But I would support people like Cashapp Sawant because she has the proper theory of change. I am not willing to support people who have revolutionary undiscipline like the squad does. You voting for Nancy Pelosi and shit. Like, I'm done. I'm done with the toxic positivity. Turner showing people laughing and smiling in her campaign ads. No, done. No, none of that shit. But you guys have any thoughts? We can read some more comments, and then I
actually like what you said about the toxic positivity. It's actually
about it.
Yeah, it's a faux positivity because the thing is that people like Nancy Pelosi, it's always done for show. If you look at everything that they do, is for a show. Whether it's kneeling in kente cloth, writing Black Lives Matter on a street, or saying love is love and putting rainbow lights on the White House, it's always for show. But it's never ever anything that's done for to improve our material conditions for change. And so every single time you take a look, like a black mayor of New York City or a black woman on the Supreme Court, and it's like nobody ever gets at the root cause of the issue, because it is going after the root cause is antithetical to what they actually want to do. They want to keep the problems there so that it stays, so that they can keep making money off the problem. It's just like a doctor who doesn't want to cure the disease. They just want to treat it so you keep coming back. It's just like a mechanic that only fixes your car just enough so that you keep coming back, so it keeps breaking down. This is what I like to call what's the name of it? It's planned obsolescence of society. And that's exactly what this is. Democrats engage in planned obsolescence so that we continue to keep going after them, thinking that they're going to produce change, when they really just want us to keep coming back to vote blue no matter who, or keep donating to their Act Blue. And that's exactly what it's been. And a lot of us are copying up to the grift. And now we're like, you know what? Screw you. We're not going to do it. We're going the other direction. And so this is one of the things that I'm happy about. And y'all, I love y'all.
Nah, we love you.
Dan
came on this.
Like, you
He
know
came
what?
on this train tonight. I was like, bro, I'm gonna spit fire. But Zoya,
Go ahead, Zoya.
what you about to say?
You know, it was just really disappointing. I want to put it back on the people because when Bernie dropped out, there was all of this energy and people were saying, Dem exit, burn your vest, all of this stuff. And then most of them turned around and voted for Biden. So
I cannot believe they did that. They went from no middle
You niggas
ground.
got mad at me because I said, because what was this? The second week that he was president, he bombed Syria?
Something like that,
and
within 2 or 3 weeks.
And I was like, there's blood on your hands. And all the people that was following me that voted for Biden, that quietly voted for Biden,
They were so mad.
they was mad as hell.
They were
Yes,
mad
you
because
voted
it's
on your
true.
hands. What the hell? What you
They're
want me
mad
to
because
do?
it's true.
I know people who were in safe blue states like New York and they voted for Biden anyways.
What the fuck? That is so dumb. People got mad at Breonna Joy Gray because Breonna Joy Gray voted for Jill Stein instead of Hillary Clinton. And Breonna Joy Gray, like, you stupid fucks, I live in a blue state. Why would I vote? Do you guys understand how the system works? Now, if you're a so-called Marxist and you're voting for the Democrats in a blue state, I think you should vote for your conscience no matter where you at. But if you're in a blue state, that's just the next level of.
What if your conscience is propagandized?
That's
you
what
want
it is.
people voting your conscience? What if your conscience is propagandized?
Yeah.
You want to read the super chat, TJ?
Absolutely. I'm 75 years old, and to me, your program is the best there is because you are honest, bare bones, and you pursue the truth no matter where it takes you. That sums up what we want to be about, what we want to strive to be about all the time. Is that what Nick calls it, being intellectually consistent, regardless of where it leads you. And we talked about this with the trucker convoy too. And it's not as simple as, yes, I'm with them. No, I'm not. There's more to the conversation.
Nuance.
Right. But then, just like everything that's co-opted is nuanced too. There's no nuance about imperialism, for example. You get what I'm saying? There's no nuance to that, Merriam Williamson. Do that again, JB. there's no nuance to that.
Sometimes I'm like this. I'm like, give it to me, baby.
But yeah, there's no nuance. They try to co-opt it. Oh yeah, there's nuance about no, there's not nuance about the Democratic Party either. There's no nuance to that. So
but mainstream media is really good at hijacking the narrative because everyone's talking about this convoy and there's all this controversy. Yes. Meanwhile, there are two massive strikes happening, one in Puerto Rico and one in Seattle, and it's getting no coverage.
And not only that, they was boosting that up the same day that Russia had to interact with an American submarine. So
yeah. Anything to fill the space, then what people should be hearing about or knowing about.
I actually want to take this time to get back to the Chris Hedges article because that's what Chris Hedges actually gets to. And we said that we covered this as soon as soon as the Ukrainian crisis popped off. You had the Ukrainian people like, U.S. chill, Biden chill, everyone. What are you guys doing? You guys escalating for no fucking reason. And they were doing that because Biden poll numbers was in a free fall. Mm-hmm. It's something that not even a hard observation to make because, as you guys explained earlier, this is an old school tactic they always use. Where your poll numbers is down, you unite the country behind a common enemy. And now they are in a panic mode because they're now realizing this shit is not working no more. There's a giant populist movement on the right, for better or worse. There's a giant populist movement on the left that's anti-war, and we have been my entire generation, right? We talk about the young millennials and the Zoomers who are done. So this shit not working anymore. Now they super desperate. But anyway, let's get into the article because we're like 90 minutes in and we only read like one paragraph because it's that good. It's that good.
But can I ask you this question? Did you see Candace Owens' take on the Ukraine? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. A broken clock is right twice a day, and she was actually correct on that. I'm sorry, she was. Let's be honest.
But they're never accurate.
That's not good for because liberals are gonna say, see who's on your side. That's what they're gonna use that as. But go ahead, JB. What did she say?
So she basically likened it to. She flipped the script on basically if the United States was in the same position as Russia and Ukraine was the same position as Canada, and if Putin was trying to start a war with the United States. And she kind of flipped the script and it was just like, wait, she's right? And so, unfortunately, I had to agree with her. It's like, damn it, she's right. But we got to be intellectually honest, right?
Yeah, so you understand that Vosh is to the right of Candace Owens on this issue. That's why I was like, no, because Vosh, he was like, yeah, we need to put sanctions on Russia so they don't invade Ukraine. It's like, how do you get this issue wrong when Candace Owens get it right?
Great point.
Who mans is this? So that's why this is what I immediately thought of when you said this. It's just heartbreaking when the worst person you know make a great point. And props to Candace Owens, I guess, for outflanking Voss to his left. So let's get back to this article. You guys anything else to say?
No,
right, so
please go on.
So we only made like three paragraphs. I'm gonna start from the beginning because we got new viewers. And I'm gonna stop less in the beginning because Chris Hedges, he know how to start introductory paragraphs. See, I'm a little baby writer, man. I'm just starting my op-eds. I got my Substack, they Cruse.substack, But Chris Hedges come out hard in his article, right? Here he goes. When all else fails, when you're clueless on how to halt a 7.5% inflation rate, when your Build Back Better bill is gutted, when you fail on your promise to raise the minimum wage or forgive student loan debt, and then you can't even halt the Republican suppression on voting rights, and then you have no idea on how to handle a pandemic that has killed 900,000 lives, which is 16% of the world total death, when the U.S. is less than 5% of the world's population. When the stock market fluctuates on a wild roller coaster rise of highs and lows, because capitalism is a deeply uncertain system. When what little help the government offered to the labor force. So this is Biden betraying the workers, half of whom, 80 million, experienced a period of unemployment last year, sees the termination of extended unemployment benefits, rental assistance, forbearance on student loans, emergency checks, moratorium on evictions, the expansion of child tax credits. When you passively, which one we said? When you passively, as an exercise,
as the ecocide gathers momentum, then you must make the public afraid of enemies. Foreign.
Oh, there you go. He lost me on that one. But yeah, the last point is on. That's on point. You must make the public afraid of enemies, foreign, domestic. Be afraid of the Russians. And feel free to interrupt me anytime, guys. I'm trying to get to where we left off. You must manufacture an existential threat. Terrorists at home, Russians and Chinese abroad. Expand state power in the name of national security, which somehow leftists are okay with this now. Expand state power in the name of national security. They're increasing the police budget using the CARES Act. Do you guys know that? Do you guys know that? This is what they always do. The squad is complicit with funding the Capitol Police more under the guise of fighting white national terrorists. But instead of them doing that, they was cracking the head of indigenous protesters on Christopher Columbus Day, otherwise known as Indigenous People, right? So you see what they do? They say, oh my God, crime is rising. Oh my God, white supremacy. Give us more money for our police. And then they take that money from the police and then they turn that against workers, black people, and other disenfranchised communities. Do you guys understand what the Democratic Party do? The Democratic Party, as Chris Hedges said, are the more effective evil. Republicans can't do this shit. They are clowns. They're actually very easy to beat. It's the near attendants that terrify me. So you got to beat the drums of war. War is the antidote to divert public attention from government corruption and incompetence. No one plays the game better than the Democratic Party. The Democrats, as journalist and co-founder Glenn Ford said, are not the lesser evil. They are the more effective evil. I think this is where we left off at.
Yeah.
Actually, this is the part where I told you guys write this part down because I love this framing. The U.S. burdened by de facto tax boycotts by the rich and corporations because it's a tax boycott. It's everything class war. I love how Chris Hedges frames everything. We are in debt because of this tax boycott. That's what he's saying here. So the U.S. government budget deficit was $2.7 trillion. Now this is why I don't care about budget deficits, all this shit. But he is making the point. What Chris Hedges is doing, he is using capitalist logic against themselves. So that's not a critique of Hedges. But if you know about MMT, you know how none of this stuff really fucking matters, right? But Chris Hedges is using their own capitalist bullshit against themselves. So if you even care about deficits like that, right? Why wouldn't you wage class war against the rich that are responsible for the deficits? So even by your capitalist logic, what you guys do doesn't make sense. You guys follow my logic here? That's what I think what Chris Hedges is trying to do here. U.S. national total debt is over $30 trillion. Now, this is what is important. Household debt grew by $1 trillion last year. Write that down.
$1 trillion.
U.S. household debt grew by $1 trillion last year. Why is that not on headlines everywhere? The billionaires made trillions of dollars in this pandemic while we got $1 trillion more in debt.
1.9 trillion.
What the actual? Meanwhile, you guys are talking about Joe Rogan every fucking day. You guys see the difference between Chris Hedges and Sam Cedar? What side are you on? I keep getting back to that. So I'm gonna skim down a little bit. So at the same time, the U.S. is facing the ascendancy of China. This is why we talk about this all the time on the International Leftist Coalition. Well, I have Dr. Kareem Batesh and Peter Beattie, Dr. Peter Beattie, put respect on his name. They in University of Hong Kong, and they are able to explain to me world events and debunk propaganda because they are not influenced by Western bullshit. And if you're not paying attention to the rise of China in this new Cold War, that is the most important story. Like if I had to pick top 3 most important global happenings, that's probably the most important. We're seeing a global empire fail. So as he says, their economy is projected to overtake the U.S. economy by the end of the decade. Guys, this is one of the biggest stories. Why you guys think there's insane anti-China propaganda? Why you guys think people are protesting the Olympics in Beijing over human rights violations when the United States imprisons 1/4 of the world's prison populations? We torture people in Guantanamo Bay. We use tear gas, which is a war crime, on our own people. But you guys think they're protesting the Olympics in Beijing over human rights violations? It's over this. We are seeing something crazy, and most people don't even know about it. If you watch TYT, you won't even fucking know about it. If you watch Sam Cedar, you will never know about it. If you read Chris Hedges, you would, though. Once again, what side are you on? You guys can interrupt me anytime, but this is a great article. I plan on just ranting on this article alone because this article is brilliant. Washington slews of desperate financial tricks, flooding the global market with new dollars and lowering interest rates to near zero, staved off major depressions after a 2000 crash, the 9/11 and 2008 global. So he talking about right here. I'll butcher that a little bit. This is how capitalism fails. Like, how can you defend capitalism when capitalism crashes every 5 to 8 years? Like, you guys understand, capitalism crashed 3 times before I turned 30. before the .com crash he just mentioned. You had a 2008 financial crash, and now you have the COVID pandemic that crashed the economy because capitalism isn't designed to handle pandemic. That's 3 times before I turned 30 that capitalism has failed.
Facts.
And you guys was talking about, oh my God, socialism. Meanwhile, Cuba got a higher literacy rate, a life expectancy than we do, and they lose billions of dollars because of the blockade. So we blockade their economy, but their system is so much better than ours that they still uplift people out of poverty and teach them how to read. You guys see how stupid our system is? That's why I'm unapologetically anti-capitalist. Right?
But this is the Nick. This is the reason why they have to propagandize the reasons. They have to bring up other reasons so that you don't say it's capitalism. That's why they have to say it's the unvaccinated in this situation. Before that, it's we don't have a vaccination. And once that happens, it's always something else. Now it's, the unvaccinated, they're filling the hospitals, not the fact that we don't have enough hospital beds for a population of over 300 million people. 150,000 hospital beds for that amount of people is absurd. But you see no critique of that, no bringing up of that, no bringing up of the manufacturing, for example. They're not talking about bringing manufacturing back for all of the essential things, for penicillin, for example. Do you understand? Like all these countries that manufacture these things for us, we found out through the pandemic, they have our, that's a bad example, I don't want it, but they have it in a vice. Pretty much. And we can't do anything but complain, anything but blame it on the supply chain. Why is that even a thing, the supply chain? Why was it grown here? Why is that even a thing, the supply chain?
They don't even ask, like capitalists, they don't even ask about how these things fail. They're like, capitalism is great, and then they watch our society fall apart. Capitalism is great, wave the U.S. flag.
They're blaming on millennials not shopping anymore. Some dumb shit like that. Oh, millennials killed fucking paper towel or whatever. Like what?
It's funny because every single time something bad happens as a result of capitalism, they blame communism for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's farting and blaming it on a dog.
Hey James, they invent goofy ass phrases to apologize for capitalism. They be like, it's not capitalism, it's crony capitalism. Yeah. What the fuck is crony capitalism? You mean social capitalism?
Okay, so check this out. Anybody who's a capitalist, guess what? Capitalism is at its actually peak fulfillment right now. Okay, you're seeing capitalism that is its least watered down version. This is why everything is going to shit, and people need to realize and wake the fuck up, because guess what? It is going to shit because capitalism is doing its thing. It is what, and I explained this on the JB show before. What does a cancer do? A cancer grows and grows and grows until it fully consumes the host, and then everything dies. What does capitalism do? Capitalism is a system that requires infinite growth on a planet with finite resources, where it grows and grows and grows to the point where it consumes everything. And once that happens, everything dies. That's how capitalism works. And the thing is that you got people who think, oh, well, this system brought a whole bunch of people out of poverty. If that's the case, then why in the hell do we still have people in poverty? If that's the case, then why are people still suffering? And the thing is that people will go, oh, well, it's just because you're not good enough. That's basically the whole premise of the argument. You're not good enough. That's why you're poor. You're not good enough. That's why you're not rich like me. And the thing is here's the crazy part. Capitalists do not like to know that they're just like everybody else. So they have to exploit people in order to make it seem like they are. And so because of that, then whenever we tell them that they're not, they get their undies in the bunch. Mm-hmm. They get their Fruit of the Looms in the bunch. They're like, oh no, I work hard for what I got. Yeah, no, you have to cheat to get there.
Or you get
Yeah, you had to cheat. Yeah, look, you had to. you had to hide some aces in the deck in order for you to be able to have a full set, in order for you to be able to, to win the spades game. And you're sitting there with all them, under your chair, and you're saying, I'm just a better player, when really, before we started playing the spades, you hit a bunch of them from another deck inside your hand. And so now you suddenly think you're a better player. But take those spades out of your hand, and let's really play with an equal deck, 52 cards, and let's play it, right? And see how good you are then. Guess what? A bunch of these people, if they couldn't exploit the way they did, if everything was a true meritocracy, they'd be under the bridge. But the thing is that, and I explain this to people, the reason why so many people are poor and the reason why so many people aren't doing as well as these billionaires is because they're not willing to throw their fellow humans under the bus like they do. And that's the only difference.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. JB is such a great teacher, just like Jenna said. Man, so you understand, as JB unpacked, as we said earlier, they invent ridiculous phrases like crony capitalism.
Yeah.
They say, oh my God, let me explain this concept to you guys.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalism is not for you. If capitalism is for you, congratulations, because you're a part of the capitalist class. You are not a capitalist. You are a worker, most likely.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely you're a worker, right? Going by statistics. You are a worker. You're not capitalist. The people who own capital are capitalists. Capitalism is designed for capitalism is designed for the people who own capital, the capitalists. So who have won every single time our economy has tanked? In the 2018 financial crisis, we had more millionaires and more billionaires. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are setting wealth records while the working class is dying. So when you guys saying capitalism isn't working, AKA does not compute, because capitalism is working exactly as designed. Because as I explained to you, capitalism is not for you. Capitalism is for the capitalists. Elon Musk, all these billionaires have done great in this pandemic. They will do great when the economy turns around. When the economy crashes, they will do great. When we hit a depression, they will do good. When we're on the recovery, they will do good. When we're on top, we will do good. No matter what, they will do good, because that is what capitalism is designed to do. Do you guys understand? So stop saying shit like crony capitalism, because crony capitalism is the result and the function of capitalism. Corruption is the result and the result of capitalism, because when you concentrate capital, of course the capital is going to buy off the people in charge of the government. So when you guys say, oh my God, it's just corruption, no, that's capitalism, because that's the result of a capitalist society, because they say in their society, capital is speech. That is what they ruled. Isn't that anything united? So corruption will always beget capitalism. So we can any thoughts, guys?
I just had to answer a question by Ashura. She asked me. Ashura asked. She said, "Thoughts you on RBN?" Says, "I'm sorry. Thoughts on you on RBN, Dora, Jackson, and other anti-duopoly being blamed again for Nina's next big fail? Let them cry. Just let them cry. Because the thing is that we all know that it's going to be.
They already did it.
They already did it. They already tried to blame people like me. They tried to blame people like Unapologetic, and they're going to do it again because they don't know how to take responsibility for their own actions and realizing that going according with the duopoly is actually a failing strategy if you really want to get things done. And so we've been actually looking at it, observing it. So, I mean, look, if, you know...
Let's be real straight, bro. We don't even have a third of the audience that the people that we are combating does. So even if we was to get, you know, the 13,000 people that subscribe to our channel, 27,000 that subscribe to our Twitter, not to vote. Okay, that's a drop in the bucket. So what they can be doing? You telling me that we are out doing all of you put together? Well, the numbers don't show. I don't believe it. I believe that you guys just suck.
Well, blame is part of the game. When corporations were starting to get held accountable for all of the pollution that they were causing, they actually invested and started recycling companies so that they could put the onus back on the consumer and tell the consumers that is that their fault, that they just need to recycle harder, and that way they could avoid responsibility. And now about 9% of what you put into the recycling bin actually gets recycled.
In fact, to add to Zoya's point, I think one of the companies they created was called the Ad Council to put the onus on people so that it makes it seem like it's your fault that you're not recycling versus it really being 90%, I think, of all the corporations in the world are producing the most pollution. So.
Well, that's what they do with everything, right?
Yeah, they do.
And just like the United States military is a huge, massive polluter, it pollutes our planet more than 140 countries combined.
Yep.
I want to read this super chat by Kristen Ruiz. Thank you for $10. All of Bernie's 2016 primary campaigners who witnessed the damn shenanigans firsthand would be great to hear more from in terms of campaigning a third party. The people who witnessed the DNC cheat Bernie 2 times and they still advocating for the same strategy. I just want you guys to know they have skin in the game. Like they can't give up the thrill. They can't give up the grift of electoral politics. They have if you look at the TYT Sam Cedars Fear, they have a vested interest in having access so they can have these people on their shows. Can we actually talk about this part? This is why they have to continue to push this. So what we do, because we don't give a fuck about access, we never plan on being a giant channel. We're just gonna tell you guys how it is, and we don't need the boutique left on our side.
Yeah.
Any comments on this? And I'll move on to the next chat.
Well, yeah. In response to that, look at Nomiki Konst. She was part of she was a Bernie delegate. And the thing is that she saw the shenanigans both times. And yet she's still trying to funnel people into the Democratic Party. Need I say more?
Thank you for the $5, James.
It's a lot of money in that shit, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all that. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of exposure. You get to hang around powerful people. They want to meet you. They want to, like, a lot of these people, they want to be in them circles. And like Nick said, they can't give up that grift, man. Like, just even telling the truth. Shit like this, channels like this, we put ourselves in danger, and
we do.
And there's like almost nothing that comes with it, man. Like, besides you sitting here talking to a couple of thousand people telling the truth about their government. Like, everybody wants a feel good story. Everybody wants a Cinderella ending. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But we're like, no, you're gonna die. Capitalism, you're actually dead right now.
Pretty much.
So I'm gonna actually let me read the super chat, and then I'm gonna try to read a little bit more of the Chris Hedges article. We may not finish the whole thing. Then I want to open up. I actually have another segment I want to do before I wrap up as well. So thank you for the $5, James. Can we help blue alien addicts and self-proclaimed lefties who vote Dem? They are in denial about being just plain Dems. Is there a 10-step program? I told you guys I'm mostly focused, instead of focus on like the hardcore Trump supporters. Like, if you're someone, and I'm gonna give you guys an example. If you retweet Neera Tanden unironically, I do not care about winning you to my side. That's a waste of my time. I'd rather win over the people who are like, I'm fucking done with this shit. I'd rather win over the people who probably vote Democrat because out of tradition, like maybe because their family does it, but they don't really care. They know something is wrong. They sniff something's wrong, but they just need someone to explain. I'm more interested in that, because when you say blue alien, I'm thinking about people who legitimately, like, they have Joanne Reed on their DVR. They can't wait to watch that shit every night. And they see, like, I remember I saw a promotion between there was like Hillary Clinton and Joanne Reed. And I was like, who will watch this shit? But then, like, the person I'm talking about, they would see that shit. They were like, oh my God, I got to record it. I cannot wait. Those person, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. It's not worth it. We got a large amount of non-voters. We got a lot of people who are like, if you look at Joe, let me give you, and I want to pass it to you guys after this. If you look at Joe Biden's approval rating, right? In order for his approval rating to be as low as it is, that means he lost people that voted for him.
Yeah,
those are the people I'm interested
Mm-hmm.
You know, just like you had said, with the Democratic Party, what Chris Hedges was saying, how they're basically how they fund the win Nazis every time. Like, this is how I was trying to explain how we don't align with liberals or stock Dems or anybody from that side, because this is what they do. And you had explained how conservatives, they lose when the battle is on the ideas. They can't really get it passed. But what do liberals do? Democrats do. They go in and they pass the same agenda with a smile. They usher in fascism, just like they gave us Hitler. They gave us Joe Biden. They're gonna give us the next fascist. That's gonna be up there with a smile. They do it every freaking time. So this is why it is important to keep a check on people who call themselves leftists, socialists, whatever it is. Because, and you know what, they try to make it seem like, oh, I'm not that far left. I'm a social something. I'm a something this. Like, no, none of that. Is you this or you that? They're trying to play with it. They co-opt y'all messages, and this is what happened. They usher in fascism, and they're gonna give you. This is what you get when you in bed with foxes.
Mm-hmm. Just the point that I think that needs to be reiterated is that some of us are already at the mountaintop. Some people are just starting their ascent. Some people are sitting in their houses thinking if they should climb the mountain or not. But as long as we keep talking and keep speaking about these things, hopefully it will encourage some people to start that ascent. Some aren't going to start that at all. And once that flood comes, they're going to be caught underneath it, then they're going to be caught underneath it. But the rest of us, we keep talking about it so that people will start to get the idea, okay, we're going to make the descent up this mountain so we get to where somebody like Rome is. But that's the thing, you like Moses up there. But so, but that's the thing. We have to get to a point where we realize that, number one, not everybody's going to be where we're at, but we keep talking. Then we encourage people to keep moving, to go and realize, what the Democratic Party is about, and what basically the drift and grift, I like to call it, is from the duopoly. And so as we continue to keep talking about it, and as long as you all keep talking about it too, and it doesn't have to be anything like over the top, just once in a while, if you hear somebody complaining about something, then, bring up a little something, and then that plants a seed in their head. So you're actually, and I hate to put it like this, especially people who are atheists, but in a sense, you're preaching. Mm-hmm. But that's what it basically is doing, so that you can plant the seed of you deserve better, and they're not giving you better, so you might as well fight, for it.
So let's I think we did a pretty good section on this. I think you guys see I'm gonna wrap up the Chris Hedges article with this, and then we actually gonna move on to the next segment I have planned. I have the link to the article in the description. Make sure you guys click it, get Chris Hedges a click on that article because it's good. But Chris, CJ, what was you about to mention?
For the same story that we're talking about, the Democratic Party, and I do have a closing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh shit! If I can find it right quick. But you see this type of shit? Do you see this type of shit that we have? But anyway, yeah. So anyway, never mind. The internet is acting up. I can't play the clip. So if it comes back up, I'll let you know later on.
So my final thoughts, that article written by Chris Hedges, and if you guys have any final thoughts, you can. It's pretty much my summary of the Democratic Party. I used to be upset about what Barack Obama and the Democratic Party didn't do for us, but that is no longer the criticism. It's not about what they just don't do for us. It's about the active evil they are complicit with. And if you don't understand that difference, you are still stuck in the past. That's something you probably should have understood a long time ago, but Chris Hedges have explained that. It's the Democratic Party. It was the Clintons. They waged the war on against children. They waged the war against the working class. They're the one who deregulated Wall Street. And the Republicans are just the clowns who fight the culture war that distracts you from that fact. So, with that said, there's a lot of confusion, and this is a good way to transition to the next. And this is actually a discussion that I want to open. And we have almost 300 people watching. And I would love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Like, leave a super chat. I would love to read it. I'm going to read as many comments as I can, because I have grown extremely frustrated with the people, with like this anti-intellectualism that is growing in the society, where people don't even know like the difference between like what it means to be on the left, what it means to be on the right. Like, so there's so many people that are confused. So Kim Iverson is actually one of those people that I find to be deeply confused in the sea of political discourse right now. But I do give her credit because she's opened this discourse, and maybe she's open to grow, right? So this is the tweet she sent out, and this is something I've been talking about on my show for a while. So this is the question that she asked: what makes a person right wing versus left wing? So we're gonna wrap up the stream with this topic of discussion. I would love to read the chat if you guys want to explain your concept of this. And this is actually an important question to ask. I know maybe your first response is like, oh my God, what a dumb question. No, I don't think it is, because there's so many people that, and I explained this on earlier streams, they seem to think that the Overton window, whether you are on the left or on the right, is based on your moral virtue. I explained they think it's based on morality. It is not. So what a lot of people will say, and you see like Sam Cedar, he will attack Jimmy Dore as a right winger all the time, for example. But he just exposed how he don't care, and Jackson exposed in their debate. He said he don't care about the police getting funded more. He don't care about the military and the State Department being funded more. Sam Cedar, what do you guys think being a right winger entails?
I don't care.
Like, we were talking about the relationship between worker power, the relationship between government, like what role the government should play, how should we reallocate the resources. So I'll try to keep it really simple, because like I said, I'm not a gatekeeper. My gate is actually really low. But a lot of people are confused because they think they're leftist, because they're like, I'm a good person, therefore I'm a leftist. I actually believe you can be a capitalist and still be a good person. But there are people like, oh, I'm a leftist because I'm a good person. No, you're not. You are center right at best. So this is my explanation, and this is my response to that tweet. Let me put it up here, because you see, this is Kim Iverson. What makes a person right wing versus left wing? And this is my basic explanation. You're a leftist if you're anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist. Very simple. Anything else makes you center right at best. Elizabeth Warren is center right at best. You see how I get frustrated with the confusion? And I remember Bernie Bros and a ton of progressives used to call me divisive. They used to get mad at me because I'm like, why you guys like Elizabeth Warren? She's a fucking imperialist. She voted for Trump's military budgets. Are you guys fucking kidding me? So
what he wanted.
Yeah, feel free to interrupt me anytime, guys. But based on my small gate, she wouldn't even pass that. Vosh wouldn't pass that. And I'm not being an asshole. But that's a very easy to understand litmus test, right? You're against the expansion of the U.S. empire and the systems that enable that. In the system of capitalism, as I explained earlier, that only serves the capitalist class, which is the root of the prison industrial complex, the climate change crisis, and many other causes that left is supposed to fight against. So if you're not anti-capitalist, if you're not anti-imperialist, just be honest and say you're center right. And you saying you're center right, that's not saying you're a bad person. Maybe, right? But there are a lot of people who think they're leftists because like, I'm a good person, therefore I'm on the left. But I want to open up to you guys What do you guys think?
This actually, the video I was going to play earlier was a good segue out. But what the point you're making right now, that I'm a good person, therefore I'm a leftist, that's actually the point of the video I was going to play. So now let me just share this and play this as my, my take or my point, because I think it was said pretty good. So it's 2 minutes. Here is the video. I'm sure you've already seen it, Nick. But it's to the point that you're making about, oh, you're good people. But this explains how being a good person doesn't make any difference at all.
These great people, and I know these same people that you're talking about. I went to the website, and it's a lot of them that I know. So it's not a critique on the individual person or their policy. Sorry, I heard fire engine or something. So it's not a critique on them. It's a critique on the team. And this is the question I wanted to pose to you.
Sure.
Is if I'm an abolitionist to my core, and you've
Yes.
seen this, you already know where I'm going.
Yeah.
What does that matter if I'm joining the slave owners team? Like what does my individual belief, how does that trump my team's belief? So that's what I'm saying about progressive. How does AOC or whoever's going to be elected, how does your individual belief trumps the team? More importantly, trump your leader, the person who's giving you your orders. That's what happens. And this is the reason why I say it doesn't matter if you're non-corporate. If your boss is corporate, AOC doesn't believe in taking money. Pelosi sure as hell does, and she takes it by the millions. So are we executing AOC's ideology, or are we executing Pelosi's ideology as a Democrat? That's really, to me, that's the bottom line. We're executing the Democrats, not AOC, not Jamal Bowman, not Cori Bush, and I love Cori Bush, not Cori Bush. We're not executing their plan. So it doesn't matter what they do if they take corporate money or not.
So yeah, the point, and I'll take that video out of there. The point you were making, oh, I'm a good person, so therefore I'm a leftist, but the same sort of logic is applied to the Democrats. Oh, they're the lesser, so that makes them left, or or they, I'm a non-corporate candidate who's running under the imperialist, the imperialist Democratic group, but I'm good. So that somehow makes a difference. And I'm saying it doesn't if your boss is corporate, if your boss is evil, if your boss is Pelosi, if your boss, is Chuck Schumer, it doesn't make a difference. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on that.
JB in Rome. I want to ask this comment, and I can get you guys in this, and you guys can respond to this as well. What about people? And this is a good question. What about people who are anti-establishment but still call themselves capitalists? I would call them. They'll be populists, but they're centrists. Yeah, they can support popular movements. You can support the movement for the increased minimum wage, but like, what's if you call yourself a capitalist? I would have to ask questions to really probe, because do you believe Jeff Bezos has the right to steal as much labor value from his workers as he does? If you say no to that, like a lot of people will say no, I think Jeff Bezos should pay more to his workers. Okay, so do you mean you support redistributing the wealth? You support wealth redistribution, but you just don't want to call yourself a socialist. There are a lot of people who do that. They don't actually believe in capitalism, but they don't want to drop that label. So to answer this question, maybe you got probe them. Like, do you think Jeff Bezos has the right to steal all their wealth? Most people will say no.
But I think it's in the question.
Right?
If you read how I read the question, the person is saying they call themselves people who are. The first part of that is telling you who they are. The second is saying, what they call themselves, meaning they don't know that they're not that. You get what I'm saying?
What I'm saying. Yeah, like they anti-establishment. Like based on what he's saying, he describes someone who hates both parties, but he's still a capitalist. So right. I would say he's a populist because there has to be a reason you don't like both parties, whether because of corruption. So you had to ask him questions like, is it because you don't like war? Is it because you don't like corruption? Like, and then I will explain to this person that, a lot of these problems are because of capitalism, but hey, at least you're on my side, right? Do you believe that Jeff Bezos should be able to steal the wealth of his workers? Do you think the Walton family should be able to destroy local economies because they don't have any competition? They buy out local economies. Amazon destroy. I would just ask this person, do you believe this? And if he says yes, I'm like, damn, you're a right winger. You're a capitalist. But if they say no, I'm like, man, you just love that capitalist label. I don't think you're as capitalist as you think you are, bro. Like, if you don't think these people should have the power they have, you're not as you may not be as far left as me. You may not be like a Marxist-Leninist, but you're not as capitalist as you think you are.
That's because right? Most Americans have not critically thought about capitalism. They only take what people tell them. You get what I'm saying? They haven't had any critical thinking. Any critical thinking of that topic. So if you were to ask a lot of people those questions, they wouldn't even have an answer. Or a lot of times the stuff that you point out, they'll be like, wow, I had no idea that was actually the case. Or the way you explain how the Walton family is extracting wealth in the way that they are extracting wealth through labor in the way that they are. Once you explain it to them that way, then they'll be like, oh, wow. You get what I'm saying?
So we can talk about this. We having fun. We can wrap up maybe in like I can wrap up in like 15-20 minutes or so. This is more of a Q&A segment here. Nick, how do you get power to make a systemic change? You have no power both within the government and without. When you say without, what does that mean? Are you saying that there's no community power? Are you saying that there's no power with the mutual aid? I'm very interested, especially on that last part. So if you say we have no power within government, of course, we're in a capitalist U.S. empire where the left has been crushed. Does that mean we should stop? Because socialism lost and been defeated by capital before, does that mean we should stop fighting? What do you think we should do? Oh my God, we lost before. Oh my God, we no power in government. We should quit. Damn, I'm only one sentence in. So, and then you said we have no power without. What are you talking about? Rome is touring and feeding people. That's power. So what you're saying that there's no power in community? There's no power in separating yourself from capital with strikes? Like that doesn't make, like the first sentence already, the first two sentences already don't make sense. But I'm trying to deal with this constructive question here, right? But this is my mindset. So the majority of Americans don't agree with their politics. Now we have the third sentence. Now we're making even less sense. So you tell me most Americans don't support Medicare for all? You tell me most Americans don't support ending the drug war? Like, what are you getting?
They're speaking for voters, bro. Majority of voters, Democratic voters, agree with the shit that AOC and probably, Bernie Sanders is saying. That's not the majority of Americans. The majority of Americans don't give a fuck about politics. They don't even vote. They're eligible to vote, but they don't care. We have people right there. That's enough people right there to build your own parties within your own communities. You got power right there. You got a couple of $1,000, go to poor communities, buy up the land, start community gardens, do whatever the hell you can to control the fruits and vegetables, goods in your community. Whatever you can do, you have power. Y'all niggas just want a master to look up to. Y'all don't want to do it yourself and get your hands dirty.
I don't know if this person watched Majority Report, but he said the squad politics are more popular. You understand that AOC approval rating is around the same as Nancy Pelosi, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you're saying stuff that we support, like marching for Medicare for all, which is popular, and the drug war. These things are popular. But James, what's your thoughts?
Okay. So the last sentence says the squad's politics are more popular. What they say rhetorically, yes, is popular, but what they do is unpopular. We have to make the distinction, because the thing is that the things that they ran on are the things that they're not doing, right?
They are.
Sorry,
Dan, I know you finished, but they are. So sorry, I'm ending dialogue with Monkey because you don't even know what's going. There are strikes going on everywhere. What are you talking about? And he said that's not. I saw another comment where he was like, "That's not political power. Strikes aren't political power." So I'm done. This is ridiculous. But go ahead, James.
No, but here's the thing. When you look at what they say, they'll say all the right things, but when it comes to actually doing it, like for instance, what did one dude at a rally with AOC? He said, "Look, you voted. Oh my God, my brain is fried. You voted present for the Iron Dome. So where's your support for the Palestinian people that you claim you support?" And she said, "Well, you gotta not just talk about it, you gotta be about it." It's like, yes, you gotta be about it. But the thing is, you weren't being about it. So if you weren't about it, then just be honest that you're not about it. But the thing is that, yeah, a lot of people agree healthcare is a human right, housing is a human right, and all these different things. They agree with that. But the thing is, here's a problem. A lot of the squad, they don't agree with what they're saying. Right. And that's the issue. The thing is, what we're saying is, okay, you say these things, then do it. Put your money where your mouth is. But the thing is that they're not doing that. And then people get mad at us for telling them to do what they said that they're going to do. But isn't that what's called holding people's feet to the fire?
Even if the policies were popular or not, who gives a fuck? Imagine fighting or waiting for something to become cool in order for you to fight for it.
So what does it say that your policies are popular, but you're as unpopular as Nancy Pelosi? Why is AOC underwater? Isn't that damning? Like, do you understand? You are making our point that, oh my God, the squad, quote unquote, support popular policies, which they don't fight for, but they support popular policies, but they are hated. Say whatever you want about Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has been the most popular senator for the last few years because Bernie doesn't make a lot of the missteps that the squad does because AOC and them are politically inept. So when you say they're like, oh, they support popular policies, but they're underwater. How can AOC be underwater when she supports all these popular things? Because people see her as an agent of the Democratic Party. She always focuses on stupid ass culture warrior shit. She always trying to make herself the center of attention. Oh my God, January 6th, I'm a victim. Oh my God, this Republican congressperson was rude to me. People don't, whether you agree with her or not, the working class don't give a fuck about this theater that she always does. This is why people don't like her. Meanwhile, whether you agree with Bernie or not, and once again, I got a lot of criticism of Bernie, but the reason why Bernie is usually popular, because you see Bernie doesn't get distracted with a lot of stupid bullshit. He usually focuses mostly on economics, and that's why people tend to like him. AOC does not have the number that Bernie has because her strategy is so fucking stupid. She runs away from all the popular shit she supports, and then she engages in all the stupid culture war shit and leans in it. She's like, oh my God, I got a Twitter beef with Ted Cruz. I got a Twitter. That's all she focused on. So people are like, oh, she's unserious. Mm-hmm. But JB, you want to read that super chat?
Yeah, there's two from Ashura. The first one says, yeah, she says, when Nina loses, don't go live or tweet. I'll try not to.
I will.
And then Ashura says, do you think you'll get affordable health care at 90? At the rate things are going, hell no. Because the thing is that people are so stuck on these divisive tactics to the point where it's like, are we actually going to get something done? You know, it's like, no. And a lot of times people focus on the distractions too much, and they don't focus on the main enemy enough. And so when you got people who focused more on the distractions, on personalities, than they do on the actual issues, then guess what? Shit doesn't get done. So unfortunately, will I see it in my lifetime? I don't think so. But what I hope my nieces and nephews see in their lifetime.
I'm gonna address something too, and this is a blanket response to everyone who's like, I will actually disagree if you are like, oh, most people are not on your side, but allow me to accept your premise as true, and let me show you how ridiculous you guys are being. If you're one of the people that's saying, oh my God, you guys are not gonna take out capitalism. What are you guys talking about? There's no way that socialism and communism will ever be implemented. The American people are not with you. For the sake of this argument, I'm gonna grant you me agreeing with you this. I'm gonna ask you this: what is the implication of what you're saying? Check yourself. What is the implication? I am a black man in America that live in the prison industrial complex that steals our wealth, that is lowering the quality of our life. So if you're one of the people that say, oh my God, if you're a Marxist, if you're a socialist, if you're for defund the police, you're unreasonable, you're unrealistic. Are you saying that we should stop? Are you saying that we should stop the fight for our liberation? I said last year when defund the police was unpopular, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if it's unpopular. It's right. You fight for what's right and you try to make social change. Whether it happens in your life, it does not matter. What do you think our life is for? We live and we fucking die. You're not going to live forever. The value of your life is only to make society better for your children or for your nieces if you don't have kids, for your lineage or whoever the people you care for. So who cares if we don't get rid of capitalism in my lifetime? I'm not going to stop fighting for it. So the few people I see in the comments are like, oh my God, you guys are never going to win. What's the point? I don't understand your point. What conclusion do you want me to take away with what you're saying? Okay, you're right. We will never win. I quit. I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to accept my oppressor. No, I'm not wired that way. There's some people that are like, yo, I'm going to accept bad as the new normal. Not me. Not me. I don't give a fuck if we get assassinated by the state. I don't give a fuck if they crack down on us because shit is going to get real soon. I don't give a fuck, but I'm not one of these people that's like, oh my God, I live under oppression government. Poor, woe is me. Woe is me. Fuck that. I'm going to do whatever I can. Jump on YouTube, try and radicalize as many people as I can. Yeah. So that's my ultimate blanket response to anyone who's like, even if I accept your premise that our movement building methods is not popular, I don't give a fuck. If I am right, I am going to advocate for it until I die. Because there's no other option when you are not privileged. When you're black, there's no option. But
I think we got to look at the framing. We have to look at the framing when you're asking this question. When you're asking the question is not popular, what do you mean not popular? You mean that the ruling class propagandizes the populations to go with certain things? If that's what you're meaning by not popular, then you're right. It is not popular because nobody has been propagandized for it or has been propagandized against it. And then the second point I always make, Nick, about these, anytime there's somebody in the comments like that, I automatically apply that to the FBI crew. Automatically, I consider you to be part of that. One of the alphabet crews in the comments making something. Because listen, and we were just talking about this. Don't think that they're not in our spaces. They are. They're already in our spaces. Already. Yeah, they're here. So I'm just saying they're here. Understand that.
But you see how we are bombing people. We are, you know what I'm saying? Police have immunity. All the shit going on in the world, people want to troll or people want to like, come on, man, that gotta be a job. Because the world is on fire. You know what I'm saying? Trolling niggas are drowning, misplaced by climate change, but you find time to troll, like, come on.
Yeah.
Go ahead, JB.
Before we get to this super chat, can I address just one more comment?
Yeah, go ahead. Go.
Okay.
JB, I want you to go on your spill. I'm just getting a plan. So, JB, you go on your spill. We address the last super chat, and then we're gonna wrap up. And then I'll give you guys last word as well. But go ahead, JB.
So I'm gonna say this, and it's a very short statement, and I really want you to think hard about this. Actions speak louder than words. That's all I got to say. Look at their record. Look at their actions. That's it.
I stopped engaging with Monkey because it was clear that he's like some sort of Sam Cedar fan. He was like, "Workers are not going on strike. Are they not covering this shit wherever you get your news from? What?" So I realized,
hey Nick, do we go on liberal streams and say, "Hey, elected Democrats"? You get why that doesn't make sense? Why I say I'm completely suspect of somebody who does that. Like, I don't take that person to be a real person at all.
I always try to get people benefit of the doubt, but I was reading more comments. I was like, yikes, man, yikes. But all right, thank you for the $10. when it comes to socialism and communism, it doesn't help that our history has been whitewashed with historical figures. This is why we need education. This is why Fred Hampton said, and this is why you can't have a revolution without education. And the 10 demands is literally part of our system. We got to destroy propaganda. We can't even get started until we do that.
So I think JB, you had a comment. JB, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. JB, you can go ahead if you want to. You want to say something?
No. I'm just reading the comments in the chat. That's all.
All right, I'll finish this super chat. So, it doesn't help that our history has been whitewashed with historical figures and labor movements not being taught in schools and what they were fighting for. I tell this story all the time. I'm not gonna tell it again, but I had this debate. I gave speeches in black barbershops back when I was canvassing for Bernie. I was preaching socialism. I had a lot of great success. There was one time there was this black dude who was pissed because I was preaching socialism. He was like, "How dare you?" He was like a 72-year-old man. He kept mentioning it. He was like, "How dare you, you young? You don't know anything about the victims of socialism, communism." And the whole time he was going on the rant, I was sitting back just smiling. And I'm like, you realize that MLK, if you think I'm too young to talk to you, okay. You think you know more than Malcolm X. You think you know more than Fred Hampton, who was a Marxist-Leninist. You know more than you think you know more than MLK. And then, to illustrate your point in the super chat, he said, MLK is not a socialist.
All you gotta do is Google it.
This dude, and the reason why I'm telling you guys this story, he's a 72-year-old man, black man, who did not know that MLK was a socialist. So at that point, I have fun with them. I pulled up this article that Katie Harper wrote of the 11 most anti-capitalist MLK quotes. I pulled that article up. He kind of ran after that. It was I embarrassed him because I let him hang himself. Because I told you I was smiling. Cause I was like, you don't know this? Because if you guys don't know, black barbershops, you guys been in black barbershops, you know how it is, right? So at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna make a fool of you because now I'm like, you 72 years old, you don't know MLK is a socialist. The point of me telling you the story, because you said our history has been whitewashed with historical figures. There are people who don't even know that MLK was anti-capitalist. We got a long way to go. A long way to go.
Mm-hmm. There was one more super chat from Ashura I guess we missed. Ashura says, by the way, AOC is making profit while in office through her merchandise. Should she not do so while in office? Why not use that money to pay your staff? I think she does pay her staff. I think it's about $15 an hour, but that's not even a living wage, especially in places like Washington. But I digress on that. But yeah, I mean, I don't honestly think.
And these are her corporate staff. She got rid of her real progressive staff a long time ago. Yeah.
Well, need I say more? But yeah, as far as making money off of merchandise, I mean, didn't we not talk about the emoluments clause with Donald Trump? I mean, why aren't we talking about that with Congress people? Mm-hmm. Let's just be real. So good point, Ashura. Thank you.
So I want to pass it to CJ and Rome, and then we go to Zoya and JB. I want to give you guys any last thoughts, anything on topics, anything you want to plug, because now we're about 2 hours, 30 minutes. This was a fun stream. I'm glad you guys crashed. Hope you guys had a good time watching. CJ, you're back tomorrow, right? I'll pass it to you first, CJ, and then Rome.
I'll be no last words on the topic. I think we covered it pretty soon, and it's 8 here, so it's dinner time here. I do have to get up, but tomorrow I'll be back on 3 p.m. Eastern for You Left Shit Out. I think we're gonna be streaming about the Marianne Williamson event because it is tomorrow. We may even be watching some of it live as we, stay on our stream and watch it live. We may be doing that also. So that's what's happening tomorrow. And Rome, I don't know.
Shit, I'm just getting ready to do this get together. About to connect with some people out here in LA, Compton. Try to get them out here. Shit, the thing is going down the 19th for sure. But for right now, we're gonna be I'm gonna be doing some shopping from here to there. Try to get a feel of some neighborhoods, some tent cities, and see where I need to go I'm right here. So that's all I got planned, really.
I want to get Zoya in here. I know Zoya was in and out here with us. Thank you for joining us. You always have an open invite for my rant streams. Zoya, any last words? Are you there? Hopefully you're there.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. It was fun. We turned into a round table.
Yeah, that was
but
not the plan, but it was fun.
It's good. We got into a lot of things. Just in general, survival of the fittest is a lie, because even in nature, we see animals cooperating, and the capitalists want to pit us against each other. But really, what we need to unlearn is this individualism and thinking, and start cooperating. And you can start in your communities. And as far as that person that was saying it's not going to happen, it's happening now. I dropped you a tweet about the strikes that we mentioned. So the strikes that are happening in Seattle, and there's others happening all over America right now. Labor is unionizing, and people are already doing strikes. So we just got to keep pushing and keep informing people so that more strikes happen and we get a general strike. See, this is striking concrete workers in Seattle have shut down the city's $23 billion construction industry. So people can keep arguing about the trucker convoy, but there's stuff already happening. Just open your eyes and definitely Google, like Rome said earlier, just Google that shit. Start looking things up. Stop depending on other sources to inform you, because other sources have a profit motive. And since we were discussing war, I just wanted to mention that Afghanistan war lasted for 19 and a half years. Iraq war, almost 9 years. Vietnam war was 10 years, and Korean war was 3 years. The war industry is expanding, and post 9/11 wars have expanded across the globe. Now we are at war in 85 countries. The definition of war has changed. It's not always boots on the ground. It's happening in Somalia and a lot of other places. I was going to get into a lot of facts and statistics, but hopefully we can do that on another.
Yeah, you have an open invite. You pretty much been recruited as my co-host. So I can't wait to have you back on. I know we doing something on Friday, right? We talking about 10 demand. Yeah, and we had last Friday conversation was so good we didn't get to it all. So you guys will see Zoya back this Friday, right?
Yes.
All right, so Zoya will be back. As for me, thank you guys for watching. And by the way, PSA, if you guys have not subscribed to JB Font's channel, what are you doing? What are you doing? He just had Comrade Mystery on.
Just stop it.
No, fuck that fake bossy shit. He just had Comrade Misty on. It was a great conversation. He's grown fast. Subscribe to JB Font.
Thank you.
And you guys will be back tomorrow. CJ will be back tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll probably take the day off. I don't want to get burnt out, and I will make sure I do some self-care with my family. So tomorrow I'll be gone, but CJ will be carrying the channel tomorrow. It's gonna be a good show, so make sure you gotta check that out. And our roundtable is Thursday. Friday, as I said, we got 10 Demand, the Cyber Show. Saturday show, I'm super excited for. I was explained before. Put respect on her name. Dr. Luna Oy will be joining us on Saturday. And then announcement, Lee Camp will be joining me next Friday. It's gonna be a foreign policy segment because Lee Camp, a lot of respect to him. He's been doing over at RT. We talk about unserious people. He covers serious shit every episode, and he still makes it funny. So I'm gonna have him back on Friday. So that's all the announcements I have. I think we got everyone right. Thank everyone for watching. This Revolutionary Blackout. We sign out. Much love, my family.